Good evening, Europe, and a happy Pokemon ZA to everybody out there. But we are here for the Unite Fight Club. I'm Spartantano, joined by the legend that is a Lobo. How are you doing today, buddy?
Bro, no matter what you say, it is always morning for me, and I am so awake. I haven't played ZA yet. I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but for the time being, all I can say is that it's fight night, baby! And what a lineup we have for you guys tonight. I mean, Tana, when we talked about it earlier in the week, of who we are going to be seeing today. They just announced their new roster, so it's very, very hype for us. And of course, we know these players. We've seen them play week in, week out over this off season and the previous off season. Komai Esports is joining the UFC with their new roster, and the first team to take on the new roster and really test out the wheels of this new roster is Hyper Gaming. Now, Hyper Gaming have put on some very impressive performances as well. So that is going to be an interesting match. All eyes are on Komai this year. They are a team with a name to themselves, but this new roster does have a little bit to live up to. But that is not all. Los Caracudos have been on fire. So far, we saw an absolutely brilliant set between them and NoFollow earlier on in the week. And they are going to go up against another EU staple that we've had, and that's going to be Los Duros. Check out the schedule there. Day number 6. Hyper Gaming, Komai Esports, Los Caracudos, Los Duros, my friend. Holy, what a UFC we've got planned for you today.
Yeah, every single one of these teams are very exciting teams here in the European region, but everybody is hyped to see Komai Esports take to the field again with their new look roster. We managed to have conversations with them and a little bit of fun games over on the Play Along podcast that's on the INGAGE GG Twitch and YouTube. Go have a look at that chat because we got a little bit of information about how Komai works and how their individual players go about their day to day. It was very fun, and I could not be more excited to witness this roster take to Unite Fight Club straight away, buddy. Cannot be more excited. And then after that, we've got Los Caracanas versus Los Duros, bro. It just gets better and better for us. So let's not dilly-dally any longer. Let's get this fearless draft graphic up so we can tell people how that works, and then we'll get into the games, mate.
Every single time that we are live here at the UFC, these players, these teams have to follow the rules that we set. And one of the most important rules that we set, one of the most exciting rules that we set is that fearless draft. Have a look at it. We explain it every week. I'm not going to explain it in much detail like we do every week. First game, you pick 5. You pick your favorite 5. You pick the 5 that you don't want to play, because in the second game, you ain't allowed to play those 5 anymore. And so on and so forth. In match 2, you pick a next 5. You now have 10 Pokemon completely off the board for your match 3. Match 4, you got 15. Match 5, you got 20 Pokemon that you cannot play. That also goes for the same for the other team, which means in total, we got 40 Pokemon that might not see the team for both teams combined, as well as 4 drafts. My guy, Fearless Draft, it has been very exciting. We have seen some really interesting compositions. We have seen Pokemon that we have not seen before, but Unite's getting even more exciting because of rumors I have seen. A new item has dropped on Thea Sky Ruins. The Big Root is making its way around town. A lot of Pokemon starting to become viable, especially in our first game with Komai Esports. Mate, what better way to test your team's depth than having them face off in Fearless Draft?
Yeah, I like this. It's very much let's just give it a go, give everything that we've got, and have a lot of flexibility. You kind of have to see how this brand new roster for Komai Esports can bend and can alter with the way that they play in a fearless draft setting. I'm very much on board of it, buddy. I very much didn't like the fact that Big Root is here. People are using it in different ways on different kinds of Pokemon, trying to work out what works best. And we've seen a little bit of fun with it. And then on top of that, you've got these new Pokemon that will be 100% playable. We'll see plenty of Empoleon, Pawmot, Mega Lucario coming out to play. We've got no limits coming into these games here, Lobo. You can pick up anything and use any held item in this game.
I mean, I absolutely love it. We're also just waiting for the teams to get into that lobby. These teams are going to be exciting, but we also got to shout out before we go anywhere, our amazing sponsor for the UFC. We have had the privilege of having a few sponsors come on in, but we have got Pink Parsnip's Computers sponsoring the UFC this time round. They are an absolutely wonderful UK-based organization who focus primarily on peripherals for gaming as well as internal components for your PC. We have a code, and I believe it is getting 5% off using our code at checkout. We still have to confirm about the international shipping. Tana knows a little bit more about that than I do. But if you're in the UK, I do believe those shipping costs are covered. So absolutely incredible that we have sponsors like this, like Pink Parsnip's Computers. I remember, Tana, we were talking about the Stream Deck Mini between you and I. I believe we definitely got one. I just noticed that you have a Mega Evolution symbol on your hat there. We might as well transition that into talking about the Mega Evolutions for Pokemon Unite. You think I make it up, guys? It's just straight on the spot. I seize what I seize and I runs with it. Talk to me, Tano. Mega Lucario, Mega Charizard, you sold yet or not?
Mate, I don't think I will ever be sold on these Megas in Pokemon Unite until they make changes that I want to see. But no, even just in general, I just think the way that they've done them just isn't the best. Either way, though, they are new Pokemon coming in. The mechanic of Megas are my favorite in Pokemon. I don't care what anybody says. I really enjoy it. I like that the Pokemon are different. Some of them just look really cooler. Some of them are completely wacky. I see you, Starmie. But it's just exciting to see these Megas coming into the game, buddy. It was a mechanic that was already in it, and I like the adjustments that they're making with it. Mega Charizard comes in next week, I believe the 24th of October, and they've also made it look better in the most recent updates that I've seen, but still, not on board with the fact that it is only one moveset, and I don't like the way that the Megas work, to be honest, but either way, it's still an exciting forward motion here for Pokemon Unite. Hopefully we see more. The question is, when do we get Mega Charizard Y? Because let's face it, that's the better one.
Look, Mega Charizard Y, I agree, is the better one. Mega Charizard X is blue with blue flames and black, which means it just is cool looking. I don't like the fact that Megas are locked down to one moveset, but then otherwise, why would be the point of bringing in Megas in at all if they don't differentiate from the Pokemon slightly? I mean, the whole change to Mewtwo essentially is it's the same thing, right? You build up a Mega Gauge, your Lucario evolves, and then it stays Mega for a little while. It's okay, it's fine, I get it. That was the gimmick of Mewtwo and Mewtwo Y, but just why? I don't understand, because I guess now the fact that we have ZA out and there is a whole bunch of Megas, I think you spoiled one for me. I'm never going to forgive that.
Did I?
I didn't know about Starmie, but sure, go ahead.
Have you not seen it online? It is every.
I have
think
not.
That one was
I told you, brother.
ZA,
I told you, brother. I have been completely spoiler free. The only time I have been spoiled is when I was at dinner the other night, and my two mates were just talking about it, and I nearly backhanded them both because I'm like, shush. I don't want any spoilers. I've been avoiding it like the plague so I can stream it a little bit later this weekend. So I'm super excited. But from what I was saying, I have seen a few things online. I do believe it is about 62 Megas in total, which is insane to me, considering if you add the Megas that they're adding for ZA, plus we already had, I want to say about 20 to 22 Megas previously in the gen. So that's adding a decent amount from ZA. Some of those are going to be Pokemon that we could see in Unite. Some of those Pokemon could be in Unite already. You know, we've got Delphox, we've got Greninja. Those ones were released. We've got Dragonite as well. It just concerns me that instead of actually bringing new Pokemon to the forefront of Pokemon Unite, which is what originally I thought for that Pokemon Unite was good for, it brought us Dodrio, it brought us Lapras, it brought us Pokemon like Phalanx, Pokemon that were not necessarily super popular Pokemon, but it gave them a place to shine. I feel like these megas are going to steal that spotlight. And like I said, I'm still not sold on it. I'm still not sold on it, but I'm willing to have my mind changed. But moving from megas to their held items, their items are taken up by that mega stone slot. Let's talk about the big root, my friend. Give me your thoughts. Have you tried it out? Have you seen it played? What Pokemon benefits the most from big root?
So it's an interesting one because I still think people are debating it. That my favorite one that I've seen is people using it on Cerulege Bitterblade, and making it kind of like more of a sustaining brawler. I love that, but I love the fact that what that enables is a Pokemon like Cerulege to have not only the speedster assassin style play, which is my favorite way to play that Pokemon, using the flame charge, but also just utilizing it as a brawler with self-sustain on the Bitterblade. I love that. It gives it more of that capability, and I want to see more of Big Root being used in these kind of ways. We've seen it on the Pokemon you expect to see it on, chat. We've seen it on the Trevenants, all these defenders that you would expect to see it on. Obviously, it doesn't really work on Slowbro, even though I have seen people running it on Slowbro in solo queue. I know, but there is Pokemon like those defenders you expect to see it on, buddy. I want to see some more experimentation. Show me how effective it can be on these other Pokemon. People use it on the Azumarill, for example. Like it's self-explanatory, isn't it? You use the move and it gives you some health back. It's going to work on that Vamp very well. It's remembering that it works on the moves, right? That's what it's about, rather than the actual sort of basic self-sustain that they've got.
Well, Inda put out a really, really nice video recently on YouTube explaining the math behind Big Root and how it only affects self-healing moves. People think that Pokemon like Clefable with their Moonlight, it's going to affect the healing that Clefable does output on Moonlight. That is not the case. It is going to be the healing that Clefable does to itself that's going to be enhanced with the Big Root, not the healing that it does to others in that area of effect damage. Take into consideration anything else you do. It's also Pokemon that have that life steal, that life drain ability with basic attacks. It can affect that as well. It's an absolutely wonderful video that Inda breaks down the math superbly on the new item that we've got going on. So if you guys haven't checked it out and you really want to go check out how the new item works, I would definitely recommend that. There's so many incredible resources to go through with these things. Lots of incredible creators coming out with awesome videos to explain new Pokemon, new movesets, and new items coming through. So we're really, really excited to do that. I believe that we've got a head-to-head coming through. Tana, do you want to take us through this? We've got Ickless and Amar coming up on this one. We've got Hyper Gaming on the left-hand side and Koma on your right.
Yeah, this is interesting, buddy, because these are actually the ranged attackers here for the games. I know that we see that Leafeon down there for Ickless, but Ickless is the ranged attacker, the mage for Komai. So we've got a Martha Hyper Gaming. I mean, there's not a lot more that we need to say about them. Incredible player. Very much have enjoyed witnessing them these past couple of weeks. Ickless is coming in as the mage for Komai. Looking at their average KOs and assists so far in this head-to-head. Of course, a little bit more of action as Amar seen, but I think this is going to be an intriguing matchup, buddy. Ickless is going to make a statement coming into this one, and we already know how good Amar can be on that Mew, on that Raichu, on the Miraidon. This is going to be one of the best head-to-heads to watch, because ranged attackers, they can be quite difficult to really, showcase yourself, because a lot of the time it's like, oh, they're just in the background doing that consistent damage. You don't see them make the massive plays that you talk about. So I'm going to be really watching these two guys going into these matchups.
We have watched Ickless a lot come through. They are a fantastic range attacker, same with Amar. These guys, we went from a meta where it was just Miraidon and Inteleon being used as those range attackers, but now we've got more coming through. We are seeing Inteleon being played. We are seeing Raichu being played. Miraidon is still being played. We're seeing Delphox come into the fold as well. Alola Ninetales still needs a little bit tweak in my brain, but probably to its speed. It just needs a little bit more speed, but the AoE damage that it's able to output is incredible. We are seeing Pokemon like Glaceon come to the forefront as well, alongside Espeon, the evolutions ever so consistent in Pokemon Unite ever since they were released. So I'm excited to see these head-to-heads. We've got a lot more head-to-heads to highlight going further on. But these two range attackers, a role that I don't think gets as much. Like you said, Tanner, it's an not an underappreciated role. That role will always go to supports and defenders. But it's always the all-rounders and the brawlers that have been getting the highlights as of recently, you know? So it is great to be highlighting these ranged attackers anytime we get the chance. And this is going to be leading into my next talking point, my friend. Raichu, currently the best attacker in the game. Thoughts?
Mate, I agree with you. I actually agree with you. As much as I do not like it because I think it looks ugly and I prefer OG Raichu. I know every time I say this, I get absolutely blasted. There's probably one person in about 100 that agrees with me, but I am not a fan of the look of that Pokemon. But I do agree with you. It is a very strong ranged attacker here in this game, and I honestly think on par of being the best. I think the only other thing that probably fights it is maybe the Mew, just due to the amount of utility you get out of that Pokemon and how much you can use it in so many different ways. Galna Gunner, I love you, bro. But anyway, the Alolan Raichu, yes.
I will say this. I have been a fan of Alolan Raichu from the very beginning. I think the fact that it is related to Pikachu is its biggest hindrance whatsoever. However, the fact the new Raichu is getting 2 new Megas, I'm not going to tell you what I think of their designs because I don't want to get cancelled. But
see,
I
really like the
one. No, you cannot. You cannot like those designs. I mean, no, Tano. We said
bro,
we were not.
It's cooking.
No, we said we were not going to go into this. But look, the fact that it's getting some spotlight is great. Do I want to see normal Raichu in Pokemon Unite? Absolutely. Do I think Alolan Raichu is kind of cute? Yes. Do I absolutely love it as an attacker, watching Danny and Icarus and the other range attackers play this Pokemon? Absolutely. Have I been spamming it in solo queue? Yes. Yes, I have. The Electro Ball into the Thunderbolt moveset is absolutely fantastic. Anytime I see someone run Stored Powered right now, I'm like, what are you doing? It is very different to the Store Power moveset in the fact that you can aim your Electro Balls and into your Thunders if you and also it requires a lot of great timing to really ignite those Electro Balls with your Thunderbolt as well to do an insane amount of damage. You can either just plant those mines because you know the all-rounders or defenders are going to be hiding there. You can try and also stop Leafeons from attacking you. It has incredible kiting ability with the dashes after each boosted auto. So for me, Raichu right now, Alolan Raichu is the best attacker in the game. I don't think, yes, Mew does enter that field with the Solar Beam, Electro Ball, and Surf, but just in pure effectiveness in these brawly style team fights that we are seeing, Alolan Raichu just takes the cake, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you, mate. I'm 100% with you all the way. I think it's a very strong Pokemon. I would not be surprised if we do not see it getting straight out of the gate here. Komai Esports are going to ban the Mew. They feel like that is a more oppressive ranged attacker, and it probably is that utility that we talked about, Lobo, where you can use the coaching and you can save the Pokemon, but also very strong in the early stages, not needing that evolution. So Hyper Gaming, they're going to ban out the Mega Lucario here. Oni is responding with an Eldegoss. Lobo, we see this Pokemon picked up so much, we never see it banned.
I mean, people are liking the Eldegoss right now because it's got such good utility, especially considering we're seeing Buzzwole come to the forefront in the top lane. But Buzzwole is another Pokemon that has been using that big root to really great effect alongside Leech Life and Superpower. There's where pick up that Alolan Raichu, pick it up first. I want to see it, but they might just go for the Emperor Penguin who wants to stand on the field. But that Cramorant is a very interesting ban.
That it is, and it's got to come down to doing some research about who they're coming up against here, buddy. And I mean, Cramorant is not a Pokemon we expect to see on the field anyway, but here we are in the Unite Fight Club, and these teams are going to experiment because it is fearless draft, so you will pull out some Pokemon you do not expect to see. But Oni, the absolute demon, gets access to the Empoleon. That is probably not what you want to see if you're Hyper Gaming, but you do have the Suicune and you do have the Blissey. A brilliant response to seeing that Empoleon on the other side.
The reason that these teams would allow Suicune through is very, very interesting. Mew, Eldegoss, Mega Lucario and Cramorant to over the Suicune. I'm a little confused with that one. Suicune is one of the most annoying Pokemon. You can take away its entire damage kit that it does no damage. The CC that Pokemon is able to deal alongside with Drake and taking that Blissey away, allowing not allowing Koma Esports to have any access to kind of crowd control is absolutely incredible. Quasnix and Icarus going to bring out the Alolan Raichu Snorlax combination. AMR's going to bring out their own Venusaur. I said their own Venusaur, their own ranged attacker, and which I'm going to assume, based on the kit that it is kitted out with, that is going to be Venusaur. So it's going to be electric versus grass. Grass does resist electric in the old traditional Pokemon sense. Now it's going to go with the Metagross. Double all-rounder here. Interesting what Clem is hovering over, because I have been a very big fan of Blastoise in the recent couple of weeks on the UFC. That Hydro Spin, mate, you got spin to win it. Let it rip. Spin that shell, Blasty.
Yeah, and you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if Clem goes for that. They've got very aggressive with those held items, buddy. They're definitely not going the support Blastoise. Looking at them right now, Where is going to round it out with the Alchemy. She's going to be providing that assistance with that Unite move. Brilliant for team fights. Patu pulls out the Gardevoir here. Okay, so we have a Beamu, and it still looks like it's going to be a Beamu, and a Gardevoir paired behind Pooper and Pinner there on the Metagross and the Suicune. It's a strong front line for that ranged attack, buddy, but I'm still concerned a little bit about the fact that not only are you going to have Oni diving, and that's exactly what that front line is going to have to try and stop, Clem is going to be bursting through it with that Blastoise that I suspect to be spin as well. But then you've got Ickless that is going to be so hard to catch. It's not easy to hit a Alolan Raichu with the two moves that you see on both of those ranged attackers.
No, I agree with you. Gardevoir is going to be interesting here. There's not a lot of brawly style team going on the side of Koma Esports. They've got the Alchemy that's probably going to be paired with Oni on that Empoleon. So a chance for a Fairy Singularity. You got to catch out everybody at one go. But if you look at the Unite moves on the side of Koma Esports, you got Hydro Typhoon, you got Fluffy Cream Supreme that's going to keep them alive. You've got Sovereign Slide, which is an absolute, because bypass their entire front line if you can get a good angle with that one, and then the Thunderstorm Aerial. A lot of incredible Unite moves that can just stack up. Let's not forget, though, we've got Verdant Anger for the side, and if you can hit a Verdant Anger into the Solar Beam with that Sludge Bomb combination, that is shredding any kind of defense. Even Empoleon is not going to be able to heal up that much. So I'm really excited to see how this match goes. We're already headed in. Gardevoir, of course, going to take that central area. One of the Pokemon, Tano, alongside that Delphox, that even with the increased amount of experience on this map, really still struggles to get to that final evolution.
That it does. At least coming out of that central area, it has a good power spike compared to the poor little Delphox, so it will at least put a lot of pressure on in that lane, which it looks like Hyper Gaming are already doing. That is the power of Suicune here, but he pushing away Snorlax, and Kha'Zix has to go back for a Citrus Berry. Dragonly might be staying a little bit too far here, gets the pushback onto Kha'Zix because they were looking to jump in.
I mean, tackle there. The hip thrusting Snorlax is a problem for anybody, even our screens. It's a problem. Squirtle's going to try and secure this in the top light, but Beldum is going to jump on in with that takedown. But we've got the two central laners almost fighting off, and that is the nuke potential of just a Curlier with adding Psyshock to the mix. 850 Altares on lock here, and Wartortle online.
Who's going to take most of that? Looks like Hyper Gaming have got a good Evo off that, with Blissey now being up. Pooper's going to be able to provide the assistance to Patu here as they look to find a good hit. Not able to find it just yet. If they can take down this Prinplup, that would be pretty huge, because you've got to limit that evolution to Empoleon any chance that you get. But now they're back in the central area, buddy, and right now Ickless is ready to roll against Hyper Gaming in the bottom lane.
Ickless is putting on damage, but getting called out by that Sludge Bomb. But there we go. Quasnix is doing just enough, exactly what defenders should do. Low health, both Citrus Berries been taken. Quasnix is going to take a quick trip back to Nurse Joy, but Ickless can defend this, but Suicune can steal it away. No, that is just the power of that Alolan Raichu. We got Metang online in the top path. 4 seconds until we see Regidrago start to spawn. Empoleon is online. I was just about to say, Riplop is not as good as people think it does. Yes, it does have access to Metal Claw, but no access to that healing move. There it is, the Hydro Cannon into the Metal Claw, and Blissy's going to be chased down, sent back to Nurse Joy. Gardevoir's going to do the Reggie Drago, but Koma Esports, they want to get these stacks into that top side.
Hydro Cannon just sounds so cool to shout out in the middle of a game, doesn't it? But yes, Gardevoir takes the Reggie Drago here. So Hyper Gaming, it's working out for them so far, but they need to score some points, buddy. Wise to get away from Oni there, ready to dive on in with the cannon going off. Got to keep that healer with them, because down in this bottom lane, oh boy, it has not been going Komai Esports' way, as they have managed to zone them out and find the KOs. Hyper Gaming with some good control of most of Fair Sky Ruins here.
They still have donuts on the board, Tano. They do have control. There you go. We see Ickless is setting those mines. Solar Beam can't get too close, which is why Ickless is keeping them at range. Unfortunately, we see Quasi just dropping into the poison there. But unfortunately, it's still going Komai Esports' way. Nice little Moonblast to score a little bit of distraction on the Empoleon. They're going to rotate down to basement lane, where they're going to want to try and prioritize this Regieleki. Suicune is dangerously low, and that is just a powerful all right here. Regieleki seeming to be the Reggie of choice across the board in all of the games that we've witnessed so far.
Oh, smart decision to go for that hit up there. There's a Verdant Anger coming out as well. Not going to be able to take down Classics, really. That was a brilliant block to stop that Venusaur getting close enough onto that Regieleki. But now what do you do? I think Komai should probably go for the retreat. They've left that Metang up in the top lane. It's difficult dealing with a Blastoise when you don't have your Metagross online just yet. They're going to go in there with the headbutt. Very close to hitting the 9, buddy. The pushback is huge. They get the eject button, and that is pretty big for Hyper Gaming.
Just seeing what moveset that Metang is running. It is that Gyro Ball moveset alongside that Zen Headbutt, which allows Metagross to once again completely bypass that entire front line. Empoleon and Blastoise are going to do this. Close to having that Hydro Typhoon on the board. It has it now, so a push onto this can go through, but there's the Fairy Singularity, reeling in 2 members of Komai Esports, but really, Tana just barely tickling them, and Blissey had to actually pop the Bliss Assistance, even though Metagross was really, really healthy. Psyshocks are raining down, and Empoleon is going hunting. They still have access to this Blastoise Unite move, keeping the Blissey and the Gardevoir very nicely separated.
Bro, Oni is just absolutely deleting anyone that they get chance to see. Verdant Anger's going to come through. A perfect Unite move from where to block all that damage off. Komai are not even bothered to look at Oni dive on in. Absolutely obliterating Hyper Gaming here. They've taken down 2. The healer's gone. Metagross is going to go on in with a compute, and Crush manages to find Ickless at least, but then goes into a wall of water as Clem finds the KO. The beam isn't going to hit the 40 dunk as that goes in. They find where, but out of the 2 Pokemon there, buddy, that's not the one you want to hit.
No, I agree, but I mean, they still managed to get both 40s in. Putting more damage on the Empoleon was probably the right choice there, because Blastoise is heavily tanky to try and get out of that. They're scoring their 99 to donuts still. Hyper Gaming are putting on a lot of pressure and maintaining good control, but this ability of Empoleon to just bypass any of that, as well as stay nice and healthy, they got to focus only on that Empoleon, but once they do, they've still got Ickless to deal with. There's a 70 possibly going into that top path, as Metagross tries to stop it, but unable to.
Now we're going to see if they can zone out Hyper Gaming here with Classics getting a lot of damage put onto them. The block is going to go on up. Fairy Singularity is going to go down yet again, but still not managing to find those KOs. Buddy Power Nap was right on top of it, and Ickless has found a KO over onto the side of Draken. Now they're going for the rip on the Regieleki. Look at the zoning coming out from Oni and Classics here. A huge heavy slam comes through, but unluckily Pinners managed to get themselves around. That is a good Unite move from where, again, trying to protect their Pokemon here. Gyro Ball came through, couldn't find it though. Ickless will not be defeated on this Raichu as they get a KO, and Komai Esports are obliterating Hyper Gaming at this moment. It took them a little while to get into this, buddy, but 139 points to a fat donut on the board as this Regieleki looks to push onto this T1 pad. They haven't found the KOs they're looking for at Hyper Gaming. They've just found Ickless, but right now they are on the verge of this crashing in. A good defense so far from Hinner though, as they do manage to block it walking through there, but they get obliterated yet again by Clem, and eventually it goes in as we see the eject button Hydra Typhoon from Clem to allow that pad to be broken.
If we just go back there, these teams are suddenly resetting. There's been fights going on over 256-0. Icarus was outstanding in that fight. They saw the Verdant Anger came in from the Venusaur into the Solar Beam. I thought that would do a lot more damage to the Regieleki. Oni, as well as Clem on that Blastoise, didn't even care about the Regieleki. They had all of the confidence in Icarus to secure that Regieleki. We go back, Fairy Singularity was used. It wasn't used, it was used more defensively to be right on top of that Gardevoir, but just the play, the confidence with this Comites team is absolutely fantastic. Hyper Gaming still putting up a fight. What a defense they put, because that was a lot to go onto that pad. Can't wait to see what is gonna these healing stats for this Blissey. Only looking for possibly a nice little dunk. I don't remember if it was stacking in any sort of way. Need to check back again when we go to the stats at the end of the game. But not too many stacks coming out from Oni. But we have got ourselves a game because Groudon has appeared. The game is on, and Oni is chasing down Patu on that Gardevoir.
Good block by Classics is going to hold 3 of them against the wall. Dragonlee's kind of stuck there. Endless Ice Spice are going to come out though. Verdant Anger was paired on up. Hydra Typhoon is used to defend that defense, and there's the Metagross Unite move. And it doesn't matter. You may be in a stadium, but all you've done is trap Pippa in the middle of that fight against Clem. And they tried to escape, buddy, but Icarus was sat lying in wait for them to approach that central area. And Komai Esports has just annihilated Hyper Gaming in the final few moments. 500 points on the board. Too many. Not enough change on the field for Hyper Gaming to get this.
I mean, to just right now is to just go and get a 1-point dunk into any of these pads, because it has been a hot minute since we've had a donut on the board. I think it is a very rare sight, but Komai Esports, this new roster, is working together incredibly well right now, and they just put on a masterclass of how to perform at this level. Right now, their team comps were great. Their synergy was good. Their understanding with their team absolutely on point. But let's not forget, Tano, this is Fearless Draft. They have no more access to Empoleon. They have no more access to Alolan Raichu. They have no more access to Blastoise. So now we have to see what they're capable of doing in the deep waters. However, Hyper Gaming still have access to Empoleon, to Raichu, and to Blastoise, as well as a few others, not to mention they've still got access to Leafeon. They've got access to any other kind of Pokemon they got. Fearless Draft is going to give us one heck of a game too.
That it will. I mean, they do lose access to probably 3 of the most strong Pokemon in the meta right now, especially on this new map. That is Venusaur, Blissey, and Suicune. That is, to come out with those kind of Pokemon and not get away with a win, that is a tough pill to swallow. But what I will say is that Hyper Gaming were at least impressive in those opening moments in the early game for sure. And I think they just needed to try and keep that up. I'm going to say something controversial here, chat. I've been saying it for a very long time, but Gardevoir Unite move needs to do a lot more damage. It used to do, and I know that it does great crowd control because it pulls people in, but it's got to do more damage. I feel it in my bones, buddy. I felt it for a while. They need to buff that.
I agree with you 100%. Psyshock, again, Gardevoir is a nuclear option, but for a nuclear option, it's incredibly frail. But again, Oni, we saw at that Groudon fight, my friend, Oni just went right after Patu on that Gardevoir. They were as far away from their team as they could be. And I think Komai Esports did a brilliant job of separating Hyper Gaming's team, because they knew the effect of Fairy Singularity. They knew they could also win those individual 2v2s, those 2v3s, those 1v1s. In Empoleon versus Gardevoir, there's only one winner coming out of that. Unfortunately, I think Gardevoir is a Pokemon that does need a few little reworks. It is able to do so much. Low health, when you're able to get it online, and it has back to very that healing move. There is the Hydro Cannon got into the metal like an Empoleon the Reggie of choice when you've got the board in all the games that we've witnessed so far. Like Icarus, just putting down mines everywhere they go. Gardevoir very nicely separated, because they can't redirect that side shot.
Just absolutely deleting anyone that they get chance to see. Verdant Anger is going to come through a perfect
that
Unite
they
move
just
from
cannot
where
move.
to block
And
all that
when you're a
damage.
guard
Oh, Komai are not
being
even
unable
bothered.
to
Look at
move
Oni
is
dive
so
on
very
in.
hard. The damage
Absolutely
output for
obliterating
Psyshock, I
Hyper
still don't
Gaming
think
here. They've
is
taken down
good
Q, and
enough
Crush
for the
manages
amount
to
of
find
movement that
Icarus at
you
least,
lose
but then
on
goes
that
into a
Pokemon.
wall of one. Singularity's going to go
Yeah,
down
and
yet again,
it's
but
a
still
shame.
not
I mean, the
managing to
Unite move
find
alone,
those
I mean, we
KOs.
see
But
it here
Power
in a
Nat was
defensive
right
stance, which
on
is
top
completely
of it,
fair
and
enough,
Nicholas
but
has found a
it
KO over
doesn't
onto the
do
side
anywhere
of
near
Bracken.
the amount of damage
Now
that
that
it
Oni
should, in
coming
my opinion, mate. But what I will say is, oh boy,
Dude,
did
on
Oni
that
lock
God
in
war.
demon mode here, buddy.
Good
He
block by
was
Classics. He's gonna
hunting
hold
for
free
anyone
against
that
the
they
wall.
could
Dragon
find
is kind of
in
stuck
the
there.
central
Endless
area
Ice
for
Spikes are going to come out though.
Hyper
Good, and
Gaming.
Ango with
Massive
10 on
approach
up.
here,
Hydro
great
Typhoon is
Hydro
used to
Typhoon coming
defend
out from
that
Hyper. It was a
defense, and
good
there's the
response from
Metagross
Hyper
Unite
Gaming with
move.
the Verdant
And it
Anger
doesn't
to drop a
matter.
huge
You
amount
may
of
be
damage,
in a
but what I
stadium, but
also
all
enjoyed
you've
in this
done
game
is trap
was
quickly in the
Ware's
middle of that
response
fight
with the
against
Fluffy Cream
Clem.
Supreme.
And they tried
Multiple
to
times we
escape,
have
buddy,
seen
but
them
Icarus was
preempting
sat
the Unite
lying
moves
in
that
wait
Hyper Gaming
for
were going to
them
pull
to
out. We saw
approach
it in
that
that top lane when the
central
Verdant
area.
Anger
And
came through.
Komai
I think they were
Esports
expecting the Fairy Singularity, but either way, you have popped your Unite move knowing they were going to use something, and it just completely stops any of that damage coming through to your team. It's smart play from Ware and preemptive play that you can't teach that, bro. That's generational talent.
It's very interesting to me how Unite moves work, because now players should be counting for the cast time on Unite moves. We used to talk about it with Aura Cannon on Lucario, how it was such a long cast time. There are other cast times that are quite long. I even think coup de grace for Aegislash is Unite time. Its cast time is very long, and it can get KO'd in that cast time. But we're putting out the Fluffy Cream Supreme in time. It has to get into that mode where it's in that Gigantamax form, and then it has to start throwing out the heals inside that Fluffy Cream Supreme. So you need to be at least 2 to 3 seconds on time. However, I'm going to counter that fact with the fact that Empoleon's Hydro Cannon countering we saw Lucario got caught in the endless ice spikes. Then it got a Verdant Anger and a Solar Beam just dumped on it. And as well as a Psyshock was also raining down damage as well, yet Empoleon still survived. Now, I've enjoyed playing this Pokemon. However, come on, that is just too much. That it needs a nerf, my guy. It needs a nerf. And of course, Komai Esports are gonna ban the Emperor Penguin straight away. They know what it does. They don't want to deal with it.
Nah, bro, that's going to be a consistent ban from Komai Esports now. You get the opportunity to play it, you just ban it out for the rest of the set. You don't allow the other team to get that. It's basically a free win in most occasions. Ickless is going to pull out the Mew here as their first pick. It's so interesting that this Pokemon is so highly valued in a meta where the range of the mages can struggle. We do see the odd few that excel, Delphox for example, but it's still difficult in the early game, buddy. And it is so interesting, the utility that Mew brings into it. Such a great early phase laner, great for the late game as well. So it's no surprise Komai are going to pick this up first.
How long do you think it's going to take before we get the new Mega Delphox into Pokemon Unite? What I wouldn't give to see that Delphox flying around on a broom at the moment. But Quasi's going to pick out the world's favorite Pokemon. When I say that, I mean we saw it at Worlds and it did win the World Championship. So that Crossover, however, I have been baited once again. We are seeing the Big Root Lapras come to play with Quasix. I'm very excited to see how that is going to go. Poopa's going to block in the little Trickster themselves. But now the double all-rounder picks coming out from Patu and Inha, because that's all they've been hovering over at the moment. Slowbro is Boswell, very, very strong right now in this current round. Probably contention with Zacian for the best top laner I want to go with. But now the Inteleon is going to be called up to challenge Ickless in this ranged attacker battle.
Yeah, this is interesting. This is what it's all about though, buddy, because now you've got to try and dive onto Patu, who's not that easy to catch. I know Inteleon people think it's easy, it's just stood there trying to snipe. No, it is not easy at all, but that you've got to try and get on those shouts, buddy, with those snipes. Clem is going to lock in the Gyarados here, and we've seen previously by MTZ Esports, Amara pulling out the Aqua Tail that was so good in that game. Are we going to witness some of that from Clem here? I would very much enjoy it, but the fact that Komai have rotated from the Empoleon onto the Pawmot that people also feel is a little bit broken at the moment, and you've got Oni on it,
That is not an easy game for Hyper Gaming, and Aymar is going to pull out the Rouge here. It looks like they're going for double ranged again. It seems to be a comp that they're wanting to stick with here.
I actually like this coming out from the side of Hyper Gaming. When you look at the majority of Koma Esports' team, Oni wants to brawl, Gyarados wants to brawl, Lapras wants to stay in there and just keep the damage and that crowd control up as well. You've got Slowbro that can get in their faces. You've got Buzzwole. So far, I'm only seeing the attack wits and the double ban, so probably going for the double smacketh down move set. Dwayne the Bug Bugson, obviously incarnate wrestler. However, the double range attacker does feel really nice here going into Koma Esports' comp, because like I said, they want to brawl. Just stand back and put that damage on when you got a front line like Buzzsaw, when you got a front line with Slowbro as well. And if we're going to see Hyperspace Hole come out from Hooper, Koma Esports definitely want to focus on breaking those tier 1s as early as possible. So based on what we see Hooper play, we could see all-out aggression come out from Koma Esports, but if we see Trick, perhaps they're going to go for more of the starve their enemy team out of experience, because they do require a level 5 for Armorage to hit the field. They require level 7 for Inteleon to hit the field. The rest, not too bad. Lapras doesn't need to evolve. Pokémon needs to evolve. But, you know, it's gonna be interesting for this one. Let's see if Hyper Gaming can bring this back on. Remember, we are best of 5. But also, when you mention MTZ Esports, Amara had the quickest Gyarados evolution time at 5 minutes, 58 seconds in the UFC. Can we see quicker? That's a tough one to beat, my friend.
That it is. I'm not sure anybody's going to be able to beat that, but it was impressive. But it's all about getting a KO or an assist for this Magikarp, and you've got to allow your team to do that. Not going to be easy against a Buzzwole in that top lane, buddy, especially with, well, you would expect the Hooper, but right now they're going to put some nuisance onto Oni, and they do find it, as if to prove my point wrong.
No!
It's nearly there at the 920, bro.
9:15. Come on, Magikarp. Give us, yes, a 9-minute and 12 evolution for the Magikarp. Oh my God.
Clem, bro. Clem literally heard me. He was like, right, bet. I'm locking in right now. I'm proving Tano wrong. And we see a 9, like, what was it, 9-11 or something?
A 9-11, 9-12 Magikarp on the field. We got the bounce going in with the Dragon Breath, so no Aqua Tail. We have got the Fire Spin Armorage coming out. What craziness did we just witness? 9-12 Gyarados, and Clem is going to make full use of it alongside Oni. The Demon Mouse is in 3 KO streak.
Bro, they've just thrown the early game out of it, and that was from the fact that they left Buzzwole up here by themselves. And unfortunately, Eldegoss, whilst it's not in that Glossifer phase, still an oppressive Pokemon, and that has allowed them to dominate this early game. Look at the pressure they're putting on now. They've just got to make sure that they keep it. You can't give over too much here. Get Oni online as soon as possible as they dive on in here, looking to see if they can find a KO. That is risky. You need the Gyarados to back you up. It's a Fire Spin from Amar. That's not going to be easy to take down as we say goodbye to Oni. Now they're trying to find Aymar, and they do. If they had a little bit more assistance, a little bit quicker, we might see a Palmer on the field.
I mean, that was crazy about Oni. They just wanted to push the pressure. I mean, take what you can, and you're still keeping your Gyarados online. That's a level 6 Buzzwole there. You have to remember also, Magikarp is not as frail as people do think. That flail does do more damage the lower health that Magikarp has done, so it can catch you off surprise, which is exactly what happened with that Buzzwole. But now Hyper Gaming are going to try and catch Koma Esports on the back foot as well. Psyshock's going to take down Eldegoss. It's just Amar here in the top lane. Push the pad, guys. There's only one Gyarados. Come on now.
Nobody wants to be pushing that Gyarados right now, bro. It's hit level 8, not far off that Dragon Current, and it's already piercing through these all-rounders. Chat, Gyarados is the new answer to all-rounders, especially when you pair it with a defender or support. This is brilliant from Komai Esports, although we do see a good response from Hyper Gaming so far, not too far off the Unite moves, and we've already seen the response from Amar using the Fire Spin. I think that is a genius decision here, and the Psycho Boom is going to be a huge difference in these team fights. Blocking the snipe shot from Komai, instant response the second they see that laser coming through, and now they want to blaze through the rest of Hyper Gaming to score these points, mate.
I mean, all attention has been on the top lane so far. We've got the side shots. Amar's going to try and take down the Gyarados, but there is the Hyper Steal. The Psycho Boom misses completely into the Dragon Current. Amar tried to predict the bounce coming through and pushed it onto the Regieleki. Gyarados just held firm and said, well, I'm just not gonna move. How about I don't move? And completely dodged the Psycho Boom attempt from Amar, and then came out with the Dragon Current of their own to get the Regieleki. We turn our attention to the bottom side, and Komai Esports is rolling. Hyper Gaming have shut the donut store this time round in game number 2, but they've got a mountain to climb.
Yeah, especially if you continue to let Oni do this in the backside, because not only does Oni dive into your back lane, you've got Clem diving into the front of it, buddy, and it is a pincer movement of destruction. A great answer, though, to pick up a good KO onto the side of Elder Goss, but unfortunately, yet again, these all-rounders are too much to behold. Classics is happy to sit there and take all that damage all day long, while Komai clean up the rest of your team. It's going to be a difficult one for Hyper Gaming to overcome here.
This probably has to be one of the easiest games for Ickless, who just has to sit back, put the surfs down, the electro balls and the solar beams. But again, Hyper Gaming have got a mountain to climb, and this is exactly why we love the UFC right now. This is the level of competition that we're getting in the off-season. Solar Beam's going to chunk a big amount of damage away from that Armor Rouge. I don't know, Tano. We're seeing Trick come out from the Hooper, where they better set going with the hyperspace hole. Psycho Boom's going to come out to try and put a stop onto Oni. Oni gets taken down by the Hooper. Dragon Current's going to go forward. He's going to go hunting. Bounce is going to bounce backwards onto the Armor Ridge this time round. I thought they were looking for the Inteleon, but they went, nope, I'm just going to go the other way. 241-34. 4 minutes and a half. Hyper Gaming. They're staying in this one. They're putting up the fights. They're getting the KOs. And Hooper has cold roll.
Yeah, letting the rings unbound here, pulling the entirety of the team just to try and put some pressure on this top lane, see if they can grab that top Reggie and also push some points in. But it's not easy because you have this Gyarados looking to throw some Dragon Breath straight at you as they get ready to pounce in. A good surf is going to come on through, and there's the bounce, buddy. A huge amount of damage thrown onto them, though. The Fire Spin with the snipe shot, and they're taken down. Here's the Buzzwole with a slam as well, and now they can pick up Classics. Hyper Gaming have just flipped that fight around. They've got levels. The Lecky goes in. Now they can score some points. Looking for a huge overcap here if they can find it. He's going to try and break it anyway. But that was a brilliant response from Hyper Gaming.
7 overcap. We also saw the slow beam come out. That was the downfall of the Gyarados. We got another 18 going into the bottom part. They've kept it very, very close. 130-ish points between the two teams as we're closing in on final stretch. Give us a look at these levels, Tana. They're not too bad. And Hyper Gaming have come back into it after that fight. And it looks like Komai Esports just want to get it back.
Yeah, bro, this is what happens when you pick up a KO on the highest level Pokemon in the lobby. You see yourself like, I'm happy with these levels right now. 13 on the side of that Armor Rouge, no complaints. Buzzwole is not going to be too far off hitting level 13 as we get into that Groudon fight. And I have to say, I very much enjoyed these snipe shots from Patu because look at where they're targeting them. They want to hit where on the Eldegoss. They want to hit Ickless on the Mew. That's where they want to take out the target, and that is how you can at least empower your all-rounders to deal with this fight without that healing coming in.
I mean, did Oni just get taken down? Oni did just get taken down at the 2.5 minute mark. Now they're going to push the pressure. He's Hyper Gaming. They've gone from passive to hyper in a moment. Lapras is dangerously low. Does end up taking down. And now the points will crash in. A nice overcap coming through for the side of Hyper Gaming. That's a 40 overcap. They brought this game within 60 points, my guy. 20 seconds till Groudon spawns. They've got to be very, very careful now. The cooldown timers on the side of Komai Esports are incredibly low. Risking those KOs Not a bad option there because we got a level 14 Gyarados. We got a level 2 level 14s on the side of Hyper Gaming. They flipped the scores, the levels around on this one. Groudon is here. The game is on. Can Hyper Gaming take game number 2? Or are Koma Esports looking for the full sweep?
Well, if anything, it's been a brilliant response from Hypergaming to get themselves back into this, mate, because that early game was not easy as the Psycho Boom's gonna come through, but Odie shuts it down before it can be blasted off, buddy, and Lapras pulls out the Express to try and shut down this Inteleon, and does exactly that with Odie diving in for the backup in the blink of an eye. Komai Esports has just defeated Hypergaming's front line. Now it's down to Buzzwole to see if they can lock this in. Hooper is going for it as well, but it won't matter. Komai have got the secure gods on their side, and they take Groudon for game 2.
Catching out Armarouge in the top path was just the I want to say the death sentence there. It was the end of it. Armarouge was needed to put the damage onto Oni and to Clem to really just stop that damage from coming through. But taking that through, have a look at the Unite moves that were not used on the side of Hyper Gaming. Ultra Sword Slam as well as the Azure Spy Vision were not used on the side of Hyper Gaming. I failed to see where Slowbro used their Unite move as well. It was definitely going to be targeted at either Clem or Oni on those two very aggressive Pokemon. But again, Hyper Gaming tried. They did really well. They came back into it, but once again, getting caught out after the 2-minute mark, it might not be Rayquaza, but those last 2 minutes are still so incredibly important. And Oni, he's going in for more now.
Yeah, I'm with you, buddy. I think being caught out by yourself in that top lane has lost you that team fight. You don't have a Fire Spin Armarouge to come on into it. Psycho Boom's good for when they're grouped up as a team as well, but that Fire Spin is so oppressive, and look at how many melee Pokemon they've got to deal with here, right? You've got that Gyarados in your face, you've got the Palmot in your face. We saw how effective that Fire Spin can be against those Pokemon, so it is a shame, but Amar was caught out in that top line, and that was just easier for Komai to take the rest of that team fight, buddy. Komai are going to go up 2-0.
And oh no, we're not at the reverse sweep. No, we are. We say it. I think we say it once every week. The hardest thing to do in esports is the reverse sweep. And Hyper Gaming have to do it all now. But only with 15 KOs alongside Clem with the 10. Ickless, where was Ickless that entire game? But still outputting more damage than Clem on that Gyarados. 74k coming out from... I just want to go back to that to see if I can have a look at the damage taken by Ickless. It was 27k. 27k and to be dealing... Oh my god. It's correct. Clem's was 23.
It did less.
It did less. And he was in the front line of that entire time. But that actually shows... I want to say that does show, I want to say the intelligence of Hyper Gaming here. They weren't focused on that front line. They were focused on taking out that back line first. They know Ickless is a problem. They know Eldegoss is a problem that they have to take out so that they can take out that front line. And again, this all started... Oh, hello, that's us twice. There's nothing more than I like. I don't like seeing my face once. There's nothing more I like than seeing it twice. But the biggest talking point of that entire match, 9 minutes, 11 seconds, 9 minutes, 12 seconds. The fastest Gyarados time was beaten yet again. We saw it done earlier this week. It was done by Amara, but it has been broken. It has been shattered this time around by Clem. So, I mean, I guess we'll clip that. Send it out on the socials. If anyone's got a faster time than 9 minutes and 11 seconds to get to a Gyarados evolution, I mean, I'm going to say that you're lying unless you have proof. For Pixar, it didn't happen, my guys.
Bro, I hope that becomes a tradition here in the UFC, and we see these teams take Gyarados just to try and beat that time. That's what I want to see from these teams. Time. we will literally build a part on the website that just says who currently holds the record timing for the fastest Gyarados on the Sky Ruins.
You know what?
Honestly,
you know what?
I'm gonna make it happen.
You know what? We're setting the challenge right now. Tano and Lobo's challenge to every team in the UFC, to every team in the EU region. Beat the Gyarados evolution. 9 minutes, 11 seconds right now. That's our challenge. If you're able to do it, Tano and I'll send you a box of Tim Tams. I'll send you a packet of Tim Tams from Australia. That is my promise to you if you could beat 9 minutes and 11 seconds.
But to be fair, we need to drive people to taking part in the UFC, buddy. So they're going to have to do it in the UFC. And what that means...
yeah, it has to be in the UFC.
Exactly. And that means that what they're going to have to do is join the open qualifiers when they happen in a couple of weeks' time. And if your team joins it and you win, you will go into provincial matches versus the two teams that are currently lowest in the league, and you could join the league. But this challenge is a UFC exclusive. I absolutely love the idea of it, Lobo. Let's bring it on, bro.
How about this? In the UFC, if you get it, not only will I personally send you a pack of Tim Tams, I will shiny hunt a golden magic card for you to give you in Scarlet and Violet. That is my promise to you. I am a shiny hunter, of course.
I'll back it up, bro.
That is. I am a shiny hunter. That is the Lobo and Tano challenge for the UFC. I think we should come up with this more often. Bring out these challenges for individual Pokemon. We've got one for Gyarados, and I think it's a fantastic one. 9 minutes, 11 seconds. Get yourself a pack of Tim Tams. Get yourself a shiny magic cup, courtesy of your boys Lobo and Tano. But we are watching these incredible highlights, but we watched an incredible game, my guy. It just, Koma Esports just feels so strong right now. And this is a new roster. I'm taking nothing away from Hyper Gaming. They have performed incredibly well. They have absorbed all of the pressure that Komai has put on them. They have responded well. It is just those little positioning errors, especially in that second game, getting caught out, but just unruly pressure coming out from Komai. I mean, just how it's like getting bear hugged by 5 different people at the same time.
Yeah, and the thing is, we need to talk about that. What I will say is that Hypergaming had a much better response here. They had a brilliant early game in game 1, a brilliant mid to late game here in game 2. If you can put both of that together for game 3, we've got the makings of a reverse sweep here, buddy. But yeah, we do have to talk about the fact that Komai, it is a new roster. They do play as no micro, and they were picked up by Komai, so they're definitely very experienced at this team, and they play together frequently. But the seriousness of being picked up by an organization, one as big as Komai Esports as well in the EU Pokemon Unite scene chart, is huge. And that brings a lot of responsibility. That brings a lot of seriousness to your play. You have to perform because this team believes in you, and they have supported you here. They've picked you up. They've signed you. They believe that you can make it to the World Championships. That's a lot of responsibility, and that can really add to the way that you play this game, but it can really affect mental on that side of it. So I'm liking this response from Komai as their first official outing here in the Unite Fight Club.
It's so great to see, and this is exactly what the whole point of the UFC was. Like you mentioned, it was to highlight these teams, highlight these players, see these organizations have the statistics behind it that you can go check out at the PlayUnite.pro. That is correct. Yes, I was right. I always get that wrong. PlayUnite.pro, the website that has been developed by INGAGE so that you guys can follow the UFC as it goes along. It's an absolutely fantastic website. Shout outs to Rip for all the incredible work that they've done on that. But Icarus has decided that, you know what, he wants to test out all of the range attackers that they could possibly put out, and they've gone with the Lati Blue. Classics is going to go finally with the Crustle. Patu has picked up Zorak in her with the Lucario. The bans, however, Empoleon's still going to get banned off. Koma Esports said, we're going to use it, but you know what? You're not allowed to. So that's it's a little, it's cheeky.
Yeah, you gotta though, don't you, bro? It's the EU region, mate. When you see a Zorak, you have to counter pick it. You cannot let that Pokemon wreak havoc on your team. I'm loving the response from Komai here, where she's gonna bring out the Clefable. I suspect it's gonna be Gravity, or even, you know, if you go for the Follow Me, it's all about trying to get the attention away from Patu, disrupt those combos, and which is why Clem is here on the Buzzwole. And we also have the Rock Tombs from Classics. Nearly every Pokemon that Komai picked up have some sort of combat 2-2 coming out with those boosteds. But look at this response with Amar pulling out the Delphox, bro. I love it.
I mean, you're pointing out the Delphox. I'm thinking there's a reason that gamers choose. There's a reason gamers choose their certain tags. The way they want to be referred to online. Lobo is the Spanish word for wolf, and wolves are my favorite animal. Oh! Shout outs to Boo. Oni must have picked that name for a particular reason. We know it means demon in Japanese if you're a fellow anime follower, and he's about to turn that demon into a raid boss. However, Tano, I believe that Delphox could be a major thorn in Oni's side. If I don't know if they're going to play Fire Spin or Flame Charge, but Flame Charge could be dangerous for that Venusaur.
I think they're gonna go for Flame Charge. I think with a Delphox right now, it is ridiculous if you don't. I think it's so strong is that moveset, especially in the late game, mate. You have to try and get close to Ickless, who's going to be constantly diving around your entire team. They don't have an answer to that. It's going to have to be Patu to try and find them. But look at what Patu has got to get through, bro. You have a Petal Dance Venusaur with boosteds that stun you. You've got Clem that's going to pick you up left, right, and center. You've got Ware that's likely going to throw down those gravities. You've got Classics with the Rock Troops. That's 4 Pokemon on a 5 Pokemon team that directly have some sort of counter to you. So Ickless should really have an easier game here, and Amar is going to have to utilize those Flame Charges just to try and get themselves around the edge of Komai and find some good picks.
If there's one person that you do not want to have an easy game, it is Ickless. It is Ickless on any of the Pokemon that they have picked in the last 3 games, where it's Alolan Raichu, pardon me, Mew, and now Latios. Those are 3 of the Pokemon that you want to have the most difficult time possible, because the more Latios can hit you, the more it gets access to those Aeon stacks. And the more access to those Aeon stacks they have, the more damage they're going to do. And it doesn't matter how bulky you are. We can see that Latios is able to just shred you down when they use that Dragon Pulse.
Yeah, and it's also not nice to be paired with an Umbreon in the bottom lane, buddy, because Ickless, they're just going to be able to, as soon as Umbreon is online, drop that damage down. I mean, Cleffer ain't doing anything there, but drop that damage down and get those stacks early. And that is what Ickless wants. It's all about being a late game monster on this Laddie Blue.
I mean, what's an early game monster is that blue demon that is Lucario. It's close to going down here, but Oni is in that top lane, has access to that Ivysaur. Ivysaur, again, not incredibly strong coming out of that central area, not as strong as the Zoroark, but they saw the big bug heading into that same bush that it was in and decided to just hightail it on out of there. Didn't want nothing to do with the muscles of that monster.
Oh, here we go. Okay, so Ickless already trying to see if they can get these stacks. Draken's going to see if they can pull them away at least. I believe that's foul play that they're pulling out here. And a big KO there onto the side of Patu. Komai have limited the Zoroark so far. They are at level 5. They're going to need a rotation of this central area to get themselves back into the lead of these levels.
It's funny to me that they decided that to go into that top side. Yes, counter your central lane, but that bottom side, that basement side, is going to have a much better time if you go. And I am seeing an E-Speed Lucario, which I actually love here, because it's going to make getting onto Ickless that much easier if they're just able to E-Speed through. We are seeing Flame Charge come through with the eject button also used by Crossel to just get them out of range of that fire. Oni's decided to go basement side to try and help up, but I don't think they need any help, even with how much health that they were missing.
Good effort here to try and disrupt this scoring. It's not easy when you have them both pulling your attention like that, but they are going to push them away. Again, a situation where Hyper Gaming still needs to look for some points in these early stages. Patu with a brilliant push, but there we go. It is going to be a KO from the side of Oni, and now they're going to see if they can find Drakenlee as well. Amar just getting set up at this range, manages to get out of the way of that big beam coming through. So rather than the Petal Dance, Oni is going to go back to the Pokemon Center with Inad just coming in again, finding that, getting away, but one that won't is Amar. Patu is back, and they have to get these combos off, buddy. There's the boosted Laddie Blue is sent back to the Pokemon Center.
It is going to be Follow Me coming out from the side of the Claybuff, which I think is really smart here, as opposed to the Gravity. Instead of following a move that's only going to lock down one Pokemon, Follow Me is going to get all of the side of Hyper Gaming to target that Delphox, and I think that's a very smart play. We got the all-rounder battle in that top side. Lucario has done incredibly well so far, especially on this E-Speed moveset. Got that Alcremie to help it out now, and Buzzwell's just decided, no, we don't want this. The scoring power is going to come through. A lot of that Solar Beam is going to go on trying to iron out that Delphox, but Ickless also going into range. Verdant Anger is going to miss. I believe it's going to barely tickle, but this Giga Drain Solar Beam combination is an interesting one. Beautiful Rock Tomb there, but the combo, nope, I thought Zoroark might get it, but Solar Beam was able to secure that Registeel for Komai Esports.
Yeah, Oni just doing the work of Gima there, finding that one with a great secure against Hyper Gaming that we're looking for it right now. Look at Ickless, buddy, not even contested as they find a lot of damage raining on in, getting more stacks here against Dragon Lee. They were nearly able to pick up the two there, but they've gone back, got some citrus berries. They're now in a healthy status. Dragon Lee gets away very slightly. Komai Esports, they're getting the stacks, and they are managing to limit this Zoroark so far.
The Decorate is working very well on Alcremie. Into the top side, we turn our attention to the top side. The Regieleki has walked in, but no scores going in just yet. Donuts have been eliminated off the diet of Komai Esports. They're not going to allow Donuts this time around, but Ickless is just finding anything that they can do because nobody can get onto them right now. And this is exactly what that E-Speed Lucario is for. Combine that with the Zoroark. They have to find a way to get in and around. They're going directly at it. They're knocking on the front door, take it around the house, go through the back door, try and find a way through. But Delphox is going to get rained on down. The Eon Beam Unite is going to come out from Ickless. Umbreon takes a nap back to the Pokemon Center. Fanciful Fireworks. Umbreon gets stunned throughout the E-Speed. But these, just the survivability. There's the dashing coming out from Ickless, but the eject from Delphox manages to get it. Does get caught by the Buzzwole. Komai Esports, they went down. They lost their ranged attacker, but they're coming up trumps.
Yeah, the difficulty is that Hyper Gaming don't have enough to back up what Umbreon is doing here. We're seeing Draken managing to go in and get a pull using the foul play onto Ickless, but there's nobody to back them up with the damage because Classics is stopping anyone else getting through, and that is how you work as a team, buddy. Right now, Amar trying to drop this damage from range and keep out of sight. Patu's going to go down. A brilliant pickup by Classics there as well as Draken goes back to that pad. Hyper Gaming are struggling when the entirety of Komai is here in a fight. They can't break through to pick up Ickless, to pick up Oni because of that Crustle defending against it. Fanciful Fireworks is going to be here from Amar. That's going to stop any more scoring going in as they look to find a KO, but Wes just going to say, I'm pretty, I'm pink, come and shoot me instead, as they sneak a 50 dunk in for the 45 overcut, Lobo.
But I don't even think that was sneaking. That was right in their face. They knew exactly what they were doing to try and get that 50 in. Clefable, I think this is the brilliant part of choosing the Follow Me moveset. We expected Gravity, however, but that Delphox is just going to have to rain fire on the Clefable that time round, which, you know, what can they do when that Clefable was waggling that little finger in front of them? Quazing's trying to be sneaky themselves, get a score in that bottom side. The defenders are going to try and go at it. You're right. In that bottom side, Draken is doing a brilliant job pushing and pulling these attackers and the front lines of Komai Esports, but there's just no backup. Lucario and Zoroark, they have to go around and try and surprise Venusaur on the Solar Beams. Ickless is being supported incredibly well by Oni, who we thought was going to take that Pedal Dance moveset to really become that raid boss, but they are supporting. You see, Ickless is much more far forward than Oni is behind there because they've got the movement, they've got the dash, they've got the damage, and Oni is just supporting all of this with these beautiful Solar Beams that Patu is just not able to get past at all, and Quasic finally gets that sneaky off.
Mar has to back on up there. I thought we might see an eject button coming out from the Swole to find them with the slam, but 30 seconds out from Groudon, being a little bit cautious here. But the thing is, you can never count out a team that currently has a Zorak on it, buddy, because Nightfall Days is a brilliant Unite move as well for diving into that den and looking for a KO, but Classics is going to find two with the Rock Tomb. Brilliant for Komai to clean them up. And now with 10 seconds before Groudon takes to the field, Hyper Gaming need to regroup a little bit here.
I do agree. You mentioned Nightfall Days. It's a fantastic Unite move, but Patu has to survive long enough to get right in the middle of the side of Komai Esports to be able to pull that off and then get out again. There is a huge lead on the side of Komai Esports, who are on your purple side, Hyper Gaming on your orange side. Obviously, we mentioned that at the start of the game. Thought we'd let you know again. Unite is going to come out from Delphox. Inkles picks up a big KO, and this fight is going to start with the Verdant Anger into the Solar Beam. And once again, Hyper Gaming are falling due to the aggression of Komai Esports right now. The Follow Me just waggle that little finger because they cannot do anything to stop Komai Esports right now.
That is such a shame, buddy, and you called it in previous games. It's all the fact of the charge up time of the Unite move coming out from Pooper. They weren't able to do it quick enough because guess what? Icarus was there. They comboed their moves and they find the KO instantly onto that Pokemon. That is a huge shame for Hyper Gaming, but they're looking to get themselves back into this here. Fanciful Fireworks is down. They're trying to see if they can find a KO onto Where, but they just dive back in with the Follow Me, and that opens up the door for Clem to come storming through with the big Swole Slam, and they find the KOs that they're looking for. Now it's Where against the world, and that's not an easy matchup for a poor little Alchemy. They're going to try and defend these pads, but there's only so many places you can be as a lonely Pokemon, buddy. Komai Esports looks like they're going to take this with a straight 3-0 victory.
And Clem looking for that shot of protein. I don't know if that's one of the dessert forms of Alchemy, but Boswell likes to have a few cheat days this time around. With 26 seconds left to go, Groudon is not even going to be touched. But my God, Quasics, take a bow. These Rock Tombs have been outstanding from start to finish. And this decision of Where to go with this Follow Me moveset to really just, I want to see the damage taken by Icarus and Oni in this one, because it has to be that 20k once again, because they were barely troubled at all in that game.
Yeah, I think this was definitely a draft difference, unfortunately, for Hyper Gaming, and I think that might be because of Patu picking that Zorak so early on, mate. I think that's the kind of Pokemon that you have to wait until later in the pick phase to see whether you can actually run it, because they just answered with so many Pokemon that counter it, and that is not a Pokemon that you want limited in this game. It's so strong. Let's have a look at these stats, because I feel like what Hyper Gaming have got from this is some brilliant VODs to go back and have a look at. They need to have a look at their Groudon fights, because that's an area where I feel like they can improve. I think they need to be a stronger team and either more passive, looking for that vision, or go aggressive as a team fight, because Komai in all three of these games managed to either find a pick on someone early on and take the second team fight, or they managed to go really aggressive and get instant KOs in that central area.
Let's have a look at this, my guy. Look, 103 to 29k damage taken, 98k damage dealt with 38 damage taken is absolutely insane levels. Komai, we see the graphs the entire time. They are just in control. And we say this, and I really, really want to iterate this absolutely, is that our intention is not to completely break down what Hyper Gaming is. They performed incredibly well right now. And that is the whole point of the UFC. Our job is so infinitely easy that we can sit from a bird's eye view and watch these games come to fruition. Anyone that has played this game knows how difficult it is when you go up against players that you know from your region. There are players in the OS region that I get in my games that I'm just like, I'm not going to have a good time this game. It is so incredibly easy to judge and do all those kind of things. But for them to step up and go up against what was always going to be assumed a powerhouse team in Komai Esports, because there was a lot of fanfare around their signing, specifically No Micro. So they have, I want to say, put an absolute statement out to the rest of these EU teams. They've actually, I hope Komai, the heads of Komai are watching this one, because you got to be proud with your new acquisition for that one. But once again, it was a good performance. Game 2, I think, was definitely their best performance. Hyper Gaming, they came out swinging. They had a good ground-on fight. Unfortunately, they got caught out one time round. This one was just so oppressive. We were talking about what they can do here. Komai is just so aggressive at every stage of the game. And even every single ground-on fight we've seen, they've taken the fight early. They've taken positioning early. They've managed to get an important knockout in the early stages of ground-on that really limits their team from coming back into it in any which way. And I think it was game 1 and game 3. Game 2, sorry, ground-on wasn't taken. Game 1 and game 3, it was taken. Again, this is what we see. Fanciful Fireworks was brilliant. The damage output from Delphox was wonderful, but it was countered again by the Clefable choices. This is how important draft is. And you and I, if we've had a chance to talk to pro players about draft and how important draft is and taking certain Pokemon in certain places, we thought that just because with all these new Pokemon coming out, that this draft is now kind of a little bit more random. Just pick the Pokemon you want whenever you want to pick it. That's just not how it goes. Pick the Pokemon you want, build your core of 3, then build around that. Simple as it is to say, incredibly hard to do in execution, but Komai Esports are showing that they are doing it flawlessly at this point. And this is fearless draft, my guy.
That it is, mate. Impressive showing. I think Hyper Gaming did give Komai a moment to think about things. They were definitely like, okay, we need to think about how we get back into this game. In game 1, the early game was brilliant from Hyper Gaming, and Komai, they had to sit back a little bit and be like, how do we get ourselves back into this game? Game 2, the pressure was on with that Gyarados, and Hyper Gaming had to have that very same conversation, but then they got themselves back into it, and Komai were like, okay, we're going to have to sit up in our chairs here because it is going to come down to this ground-on fight, and the Hyper Gaming have got themselves back into this. So I'm very impressed with how both of these teams have played, to be honest, mate. But I do agree with you. I think there is a way to lose Pokemon Unite at the draft phase. There just is. It's a MOBA, which means that there is counterplay to certain Pokemon. There's counters to all Pokemon in this game, and if you get picked, every Pokemon that you've got, if you get countered on, you've lost the game at draft no matter what you can do. I think Hyper Gaming picking Patu a little bit too early there is probably given over a little bit of their game plan, and it was just a little bit easier for Komai to respond to that, mate. But impressive. I very much enjoyed this set, and I hope Hyper Gaming go away. They look at this VOD and they see how they can improve, because this is a good step up for them here at UFC.
I agree with you 100%. And look, we're going to go from this game, an exciting start to the UFC. Day 6 is so important. It's Komai's debut, but we're going to go to Los Caracudos versus Los Duros, our next set. But before we go to do that, we're going to take a break. Grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a snack. If that first set was any indication as to what we're in for, the next one is going to be a doozy as well. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you real soon, guys.
Welcome back, trainers. And boy, do we have a beauty for you all. Los Caracados taking on Los Duros. Who will be the better Los Lobo?
I mean, when you said you have a beauty, I thought you were talking about yourself, and I was about to be like, well, I gotta agree with that one. He is a beauty, as is everyone that helps us out here at the UFC. Before we get into the next game, gotta give a big shout out to absolutely everyone behind the scenes that help us out. Christo, who is our player liaison, Rip, who does our incredible website, and all the players that are participating in the UFC. We love you. We love watching you. Please, please, please never stop showing up, because it's an absolute pleasure to watch you guys go at it day in, day out, twice a week. My guy, as if people thought that we didn't have a problem. We play this game, we watch this game, we cast this game. We absolutely adore this game, and we adore the players that we are going to watch right now. It is Los Duros on your orange side, Los Caracudos on your purple side, and my goodness, we're excited for this one.
So, looking at the current standings, buddy, Los Duros are number uno in the records. They take that number one spot with the points that they've earned from game wins. Los Caracados currently in that fifth position, but we are early on in the UFC, so realistically they could boost themselves up with 3 huge wins here into that joint second place with Komai, who just decimated that game set.
I agree with you. And once again, you guys can check out all these positionings on the website. It is playunite.pro. These pros, however, are going to start off with some very common bans. Empoleon, Mega Lucario, Suicune, and Mew are not going to be allowed out at all this time around. Albanoa gonna pick up the little tricks to God. I was gonna say Goddess, but little tricks to God. That is Hooper. Rops is gonna pick up a Pokemon you and I have had a little bit of contention with over the years that we have been doing this. It has been overpowered for way too long, and still I'm very, very critical of the early game use of Leafeon. However, some of these players do manage to change my minds, as Ame-chan changes the minds of all of us, as my little tirade on about Leafeon goes completely on deaf ears.
That it does, buddy. So let's see what Los Duros are going to respond with here. No Way showing some attention to these ranged attackers so far, and it is going to be Oscar that locks in the Zacian. A great response to a Buzzwole being in that top lane, but you're going to have an Eldegoss Buzzwole versus a Zacian Hooper in that top lane. That is exciting.
Two of the top, I want to say 2 picks, number 1 and number 2 into that top lane as top lane attackers. Buzzwole so strong with that Eldegoss. I think the supporters that these two players have chosen, these two teams have chosen to complement each other, actually work better with each other. I think Eldegoss works better with a Buzzwole than it would with a Zacian, and I think Zacian works better with a Hooper more than it would with an Eldegoss, just because that's the common thing, the commonality that we have been seeing. Jose is going to pick up that Leafeon. We know how dangerous they are on that Leafeon. No Way wants to counter with, I was going to think Greninja, but probably a stored power Espeon, but we have been seeing Psyshock being played a lot more. Louisen, Speedster on Speedster, Fire versus Grass. Grass usually wins in this one with the Leafeon, but Talonflame does have that nuclear option if we decide to see. I do believe it is the portals coming out from Hooper, so we could go with that shot, the Phantom Force into the Brave Bird. Birdie was hovering over Alolan Raichu, but double Speedster on the side of Los Caracudas. Damn interesting comp coming out for this game number 1.
So what is also interesting is, of course, they've got El Torero here. No Way is usually the defender. Now they've been rotated onto the mage. Also, their full name is No Way Jose, and I love that because Jose is there on a Leafeon. So will it be No Way Jose? We will find out, as I suspect Espeon might want to go for the stored power here, buddy. You've got 2 speedsters coming at you on the opposite side. I think that might be the call.
That's a rough one to especially hit those Psyshocks. I know these players know how to hit their moves, but hitting a Psyshock on a very, very maneuverable 3-headed bird and overgrown Leaf Dog is going to be an absolute problem for this Espeon. We know stored power is very, very good paired alongside that future sight. It's able to hit, it's able to give a little bit of movement speed as well. Not to mention, I think Psychic Solaire is such an underrated Unite move. It holds
Agreed.
everybody up. And again, you can also use your attacks whilst you're in your Psychic Solaire. So you can actually fire off Side Shocks and Store Powers whilst you're in Psychic Solaire. Again, with the Psychic Solaire into the eject button to be able to reposition, always incredibly handy on the side. I believe it was Los Duros that was using that one. But Louisin coming in with that Talonflame. Bravebird was the nuclear option. It was the popular option for a long time. Fly has been the strategic option every time we have seen the big flaming bird. We'll see what they decide to go now, because if they're able to land any of those Brave Birds or Flies, sorry, if they're able to land any of those Brave Birds, those speedsters is going to go night-night very quickly.
That they are. Very good for targeting them, as well as a lot of pressure is already brought in. I like this, though. They had to send a Yami-chan into that central area to assist with the Evo onto the side of Jose, and now they do come into that lane. Lucky that Los Duros weren't able to find a KO onto Leo at the get-go there, but they do bounce back easily, buddy, because they're going to go into that central area, and Louisin is sent back to Nurse Joy early.
That is exactly what I wanted to see from Jose. Their name may be No Way, but he says Yes Way, coming through with the Razor Leaf, taking out the opposing team's central area, denying them any kind of buffs, and putting them behind on Evolution. Still not access to that Fletchinder just yet. 14 on the board early for Los Catacudos.
Yeah, okay, so this is interesting. There goes the 850s. It is going to be stored power coming out from No Way here as they try and see if they can secure some of this. We do see the approach from Bertolo, and the Rock Tomb was on point from Rox, but in the meantime, Los Duros have dominated this top lane. They've got Fletchinder online. Oscar will not be stopped.
I love that. Get your own back and now do exactly what Jose did to you. The Hooper hole is going to be missed by both. The eject button's going to come out. Trickster God is going to try and distract Jose this time around. Gets the stun in. I think they're going to go down for this one, but it allows Fletchinder to get out, which is exactly what you want to do as a support. Unfortunately, that is your role. These two all-rounders going to duke it out. Sword versus fist. It's a pretty obvious one, which is going to win that one in the real world. But this is the world of Pokemon, and it seems like Fist might win this one. Luis is going to take to the sky, but going to think better of it before they decide to go into that.
Yeah, they saw the instant they flew up. Jose just walked away from the Regidrago. People stopped hitting it. They weren't giving up that. And now Jose comes into this bottom lane. And with the assistance of Bertolo, they just annihilate Los Duros here. I do like the approach from Los Duros in the top side, though. They're trying to alleviate the pressure that's coming at them. And they found a couple of stacks so far. But the issue is Los Catacados have got these speedsters online, Lobo. So now it's very hard for Los Duros to find the answer against them, as well as having Buzzwole up here, getting that little bit of experience there. As soon as they hit level 9, it's not going to be easy for Los Duros to bounce back.
I love seeing good Dodrio play with these tri attacks. It's such a good move, and now pairing it with that Buzzwole in that top lane, Buzzwole is winning that fight against Zacian. Luisin is struggling a little bit because once again, we're going through cast time. It has to take to the air, and then it has to fly down. But in the time that it did that, though, its partner in that top lane, the Zacian, was already taken down. Jose got the luck of the draw that time around, rolling a Registeel. Luisin takes to the sky. They're going to try to secure this away, but no, it was Bertilo. Sorry, it was the Elder God Sayama-chan securing that Regieleki for the side of Los Catacudos.
That's going to walk in, so now they can get a good overcap there, and Jose scores another 32 in the bottom lane, knowing the springboard wasn't up at that home pad. Looks for more stacks as well as they sneak a couple more in. Looks like they could be KO'd. No, Jose gets the better of Oscar there. This Leafeon, somebody has to have a conversation. Psychic Solaire is huge here to try and find the KO, and they do with a stored power buddy. A brilliant Unite move usage to take down the strongest Pokemon on Los Catacados, but still they punish you in the top lane.
I mean, you said somebody had to have a conversation with Jose. That's a tricky conversation to have. But Espeon managed to have the tough talk with the Little Leaf. 246 to 22 on the board for both of these teams. The levels don't look too bad for these sides. Espeon just jumped to that level 10 after taking down Jose, who's now at level 11. The all-rounders are sitting pretty at level 9. Dojo level 10. And our supporters and defenders are rocking out at level 9 and 8. Snorlax just hitting that level 8. Same with the Hooper. Now they're just going to play a little bit of Pac-Man in this one right now. all of the tier 1s up for the side of Los Catacudos. That Hooper Highway has been completely stopped, as has Louisan on the Talonflame. Jose playing the sneaky game of cat and mouse. Tom and Jerry on the field, and they're going in for more.
Oscar's going to have to back on up here. And that was the perfect example of assassin-style play, buddy. That's what you usually see the Absol do, but that was going to be Jose finding that clean. Right now, Los Catacados, they have all the advantage that they're looking for. And honestly, I think with this new Faya Sky Ruins, Lobo, having a score lead is actually so important, as this 34 will go in, tries to get away from the fly, and there's the Emerald two-step. The Flame sweep to pick them up, but they just bounce off the side of it, breaking a couple of wings there, as Los Duros don't find anything just yet.
Ultra Instinct coming out from the side of Jose. He was playing Tom and Jerry before, then decided to enter the world of Dragon Ball. But now, as they take the Registeel in the bottom side, Louisiana takes to the skies to say the Sovereign Sword has been pulled back. It does secure the Regieleki, but just gets punched away. Hooper has called roll in the bottom side. Is this a bait by the side of Los Catacudos? Eldegoss has decided to try and run away, giving Jose a little bit of time and a breathing room. Dodrio's going to score 40 in the top pad, which is exactly what they want. Keep that score lead high, but Jose's going to have a problem defending this pad. No access to that Emerald two-step just yet. Beautiful yawn does put him to sleep. The play rough from Zacian almost taking them out.
Okay, 320 to 83. Los Duros has found a couple more scores, but still not enough. That is a good score lead here for Los Catacados. Oscar is going to find a KO onto Bertilo, and it does open up a little bit of space in that top lane for them to grab their experience. But look at how Los Catacados are continuing to put some pressure on. Rops is looking like they're going to go down here. Good assist from Ayami-chan's going to come back, though. Give them the heal that they need just to get back to the pad. Oh, they get out of the way of the Snorlax. That was a brilliant save from that Eldegoss.
That's almost criminal. Ayami-chan putting in the hard yards. Espeon is so hard to run away from when it's playing that stored power moveset, because it can slow, it can stun. Hooper's going to get this portal back. Jose just been like, nah, you can take it, buddy. Don't worry about it. I'll just head on up to the top pad and deal with myself. Buzzswole is going to be found inside that bush, gets put to sleep. Gonna have to use the Unite move, Ultra Swole Slam. It does take absolutely everybody with them. How is that Buzzswole alive? Jose saying the same thing towards the Zacian. They are winning these battles all over the map of Los Catacudos.
The difficulty is how quick the movement is on these speedsters. In the top lane, in the bottom lane, they are everywhere on Faya Sky Ruins. And as you try to respond as a team on the side of Los Duros, you're not quick enough, buddy. By the time you get there, they've already found the KOs they're looking for, and they just get out. It's so difficult with a Dodrio Leafeon combo. I love it, because then when you want to chase them, you run into the rock tombs of Crustle, you run into the arms of the Buzzwole, and it is not an easy comp to answer.
And Ayami-chan is doing a brilliant job keeping that Buzzwole and that Crustle very nice and healthy. Jose has just gotten every single objective in that basement side by themselves. They've gone, no, you just go handle that. You know, go play your all-rounder role, and we'll do the rest. But they've left the top side. We've got 14 seconds till Groudon spawns. Los Catacudos know better than to challenge this one. They don't have enough time, but they are finding these nice little entry points to stop Los Duros from entering that Groudon pit. 2 seconds till the Groudon spawns. Game on, says Faya Sky Ruins. We've spawned the big boss. Whether you want to take it, it's up to you or not. Louisa gets sent to the sky, but a beautiful X-Scissor stops them, even though the yawn was there.
Power Nap's going to come through. Great disruption there, but the triple trample's going to jump through it anyway, and they're right into the central area here, putting up a good offense, but they have to run away. Massive Yawn's going to come on through, and there we go. Psychic Solaire with the flame sweep coming through as well. They've managed to find the Jose, looking to see if they can find more here. A massive fly is going to land onto Leo. They get out of the arms as well, but they haven't managed to find Bertilo. They're getting the rip on the Groudon here. Oscar is going to get that rip through as they get the secure from Louisan. A massive response from Los Duros, as now they can score Hundo Burgers. They only need a couple to get themselves in this lead, and they're going to find it here, buddy. What an effort from Los Duros.
That was an absolute incredible turnaround. The triple trample into the enemy team's central area was probably not the right idea. Right into the arms of a Snorlax and a Zacian as well. The Psychic Solaire was there to make sure that that Dodrio did not move anywhere. They did manage to get out low enough health that they weren't able to do much. But now that the only one left standing, Los Duros have taken the lead, 491 to 320. There is still time for a push. All of Los Duros are back here on near that home pad. Louisan's taken a quick retreat to Nurse Joy. Do they want to get some more scores in? Push the pressure with 35 seconds to go. Dodrio could turn it around if they have a pocket full of AOs, but Boswell, it's found the little trickster trying to score 50, but just going to retreat back to their home pad.
Oh, that combo. Oh my days. Albanoa doesn't manage to get the points in, but they were risking it, buddy. I either get the hundo dunk in here and extend our lead, or I go back to the pad and I don't have to be concerned about. Great combo there from Albanoa, but what a response from Los Duros, because I tell you now, buddy, coming into that final fight, I wasn't sure. I felt like the speedsters had way too much control of this entire Fate of Sky Ruins, and Los Duros were struggling to answer, but the answer they found was massive. A brilliant Psychic Solaire, and then they had Oscatar go for the rip on the ground on the second they won that team fight. They found a couple of picks. Oscatar, go rip. That's what Zacian is good at. And I like that response from Los Duros.
It was a lot of things going on at one time. Yorn was the big contributor in the start of that team fight, finding everyone. Then we saw the Louisan come in with the flame sweep. Birdilo went in with the triple trample. No Way put up the Psychic Solaire. And then it was just going down. Ayame-chan went down first, then Rops, then Birdie Low. Jose went down in quick succession. Birdie Low and Ayame-chan were the only ones left up, as well as Leo, but unfortunately just unable to secure as much as they can. We thought Leo had a bit more of an impact in terms of just damage dealt. However, it was the Zacian that managed to win the all-rounder battle in that top side. We saw, however, Los Caracuras taking a lot of those objectives. However, still taking the most important objective, it was Groudon. Los Caracuras, very aggressive early on, which I don't think they needed to be. We saw this come out from Koma Esports as well in set number 1. They were very aggressive, but they didn't allow themselves to be caught out as they were entering their enemy team's central area. Unfortunately, for Los Caracuras, there were a lot of ways that they could have been caught, and Psychic Solaire into that Yawn is one of the biggest ones, and Los Duros made them pay, my guy.
That they did, mate. I mean, the approach of Bertolo to go for the triple trample through the power nap was interesting. I feel like if they'd have found one Pokemon by themselves back there, brilliant. That probably would have worked. But instead, they found 3, and that was not an easy matchup for them to deal with, mate. So they had to come back out of that fight, and then it was Los Duros managing to find those picks before Bertolo could get back in and provide that assistance. But that just shows the importance of this final objective still, buddy, as we witness it here. It's all about the fact that you're going to take that objective, you're going to try and score, but we saw Louisian go to that top lane, get those Hunderburgers in, and then come down to assist their team with the buff that they had to take that fight on that T2. Instead of going for, we need to go score as quick as possible, they went for, we've got buffs, we need to take the KOs, and then we can score.
Just looking at that team fight again, production, if we could get the start of that clip from the team fight rolled back just one more time, if that's possible. Yawn catching out Crossel and Eldegoss in that corner there, right here. You see it gets caught. There's the X's, so beautifully done. Forces Ayami-chan into the Cotton Cloud crash. Power Nap comes through, but there you go. Birdilo cut between Zacian, Talonflame, and Espeon. Here we go. There's the Yawn.
Yeah.
Beautifully done on it to the Crossel, in it, and the Eldegoss, the Psychic Solaire into the Flame Sweep. And those are 2 of your key members down for the side of Los Caracuras, and Los Duros jumped. They decided that, it's not worth the effort to push everybody out. Zacian was going to rip. The rest of them were going to the word is on the tip of my tongue. Zone. That's the word. How often do you use a word that starts with Z? Never, unless you're casting Pokemon Unite. But that's just the game that we play. Again, brilliant game by Los Duros. I can't wait to see how Los Caracuras answer back. Is this going to be another 3-0 sweep, or is this going to be a full set of 5 because we witnessed it last time? But damn, you know what? Show me Gyarados.
Yeah, show me some Gyarados action, bro. 100%. I did love this, though, because it was a great effort from Los Caracados, and I thought they're definitely going to be able to win this. They've got the benefit. But if that Yawn didn't hit Jose and they didn't find that KO onto that Leafeon so quickly, it might have been a different set. But what a way to combo your Unite moves from Los Duros, mate. And this is why we love Pokemon Unite. This is why we love the UFC, because either of these teams, you can never count them out. And what a way to bounce back. Now, going into game 2 here, looking at those comp. So you don't have those Pokemon that you can play anymore. You're going to have to adjust a little bit. But that's 2 speedsters that Los Catacados have gone for and had a lot of control here on Faya Sky Ruins. Do they stick with the same kind of plan? Because it really was the Groudon fight that just let them down.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I think they had a lot of control going on into that fight. I don't know what is going on with my gun. You know what? This stupid camera has the AI face tracking and it just moves it all over the place. It's so distracting, but I can't get distracted because we're heading on into game number 2. Yeah, my brain is fried. It's too early in the morning. It's too late for you. These games are off the train. Los Duras going to stay on your orange side. Los Catacados is going to continue to be your purple bandits. Who are we going to get banned off? It is going to be Suicune in Poland. I'm assuming the Mega Lucario is going to join it, bro. Bro, I'm in ZA mode already. Mew's going to join it. Who's Jose going to pick? I assume it's going to be Mega Lucario. They could make me a fool, which they have done already.
No, you're not a fool here, buddy. Mega Lucario Empoleon banned out by Los Catacados. What are they going to lock on in? Los Heroes. They're going to first pick here instead, sorry. Who is going to take, what they're going to take rather. They do have access. Okay, we've just had confirmation from production that this match will be restarted, chat. So let's get that started and get all that hashed on out while we continue our conversations that we were on about Lobo. So, Mega Absol. When are we getting Mega Absol in Pokemon Unite?
Mega Absol, is it going to come to Unite? Absolutely. It's going to come to Mega Unite. It's going to come to Pokemon Unite. Now, let's talk about these Mega Evolutions. What Pokemon have the ability to have Mega Evolutions? Of course, your Venusaurs, your Blastoises. We know that Charizard is coming to Pokemon Unite. We have got your Absols. We've got your Gardevoirs. Is there anything else I'm missing? Probably.
I tell you what, though. How amazing would it be to have that Mega Blastoise? The massive cannon, bro! I would love to see that in Pokemon Unite.
You know what I want? You know what I want? Oh, just by the way, thank you, Pump, for the raid. We really, really appreciate your support over here at Engage and at the UFC. Thank you so much for the raiders. Raiders, welcome on in to the Unite Fight Club, powered by INGAGE and sponsored by Pink Parsnip Computers. Thank you guys so much. We are currently in the middle of a best of 5 between 2 absolutely incredible teams, Los Catacados and Los Duras. We have currently just finished up game number 1. Los Duras coming out deuces and aces in that Groudon fight. We're about to go into game number 2. The match was just reset. If you don't know who we are, my name is Lobo, and that is my good buddy Tano over there. We are going to be bringing you the action for these ones. So sit back, grab a snack, grab a drink. We're going to take you through. We've got 4 possible games to take you through for this one. We were just discussing Mega Evolutions in Pokemon Unite. If you have thoughts of your own, we'd love to hear them in the chat. Be a part of the conversation. But I am going to tell you the only Mega I want to see in Pokemon Unite. And you know what, Tano? I'm going to give you 3 guesses. You're not going to guess it. 3 guesses. Chat, you can guess as well. 3 guesses. What Pokemon do I think is going to get a Mega? And I'll tell you this right now. It's not currently on the Unite roster.
Oh, okay. So you think it's going to be a new Pokemon added with the Mega? Okay.
Yep. 3 guesses. Mimikyu doesn't have a Mega, although it should.
Well, you never know. We've got plenty coming, mate. Okay.
If that's a spoiler, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to flip my desk.
Man's gonna lose it.
3 guesses.
A mega that isn't currently in.
I guarantee.
Well, the thing is, the only megas that are coming to my mind are the new ones, and I don't want to ruin anything for you because I know you've stayed away from spoilers, bro.
So I've seen everything that's official. Everything that's official.
Yeah, but the game came out today, so the rest of it is official.
Yeah, okay, fine. I haven't played the game, but I've seen everything from the trailers. But, okay, fine. Let's just go with the old Megas that haven't been introduced yet. Like, that were introduced in, like, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, and X and Y. 3 Megas. 3 Pokemon that are not currently on the roster.
You're testing me now, bro. That isn't currently on the roster.
I guarantee you won't get it. Well, you might get it if you look it up now.
Nah, because there's still a lot of Pokemon. I'm going to see
Oh, but mate, there's
Chat,
some
if
of
you
these.
can, chat, if you can guess which one this is, go ahead.
There's some of these that have popped up, and I'm like, imagine that in Pokemon Unite, bro.
Go on, go on.
Oh,
It's
it gets
not
me
on the
excited.
roster. You got 3 guesses, and I'll tell you.
Not currently on the roster.
Hopefully, this takes enough time for the game to get reset and Tana
Oh, there we
took
go.
too long.
There
Tana
we go.
took too long. Tana took too long.
Mega
chat,
Steelix,
it's
bro.
still out there. So, please give me your guesses as to what Mega you think Lobo, wants in Pokemon Unite and a new Pokemon. Go ahead.
Mega Steelix,
What?
bro. Mega Steelix.
Nope. Guess number 1.
Mega Skarmory.
Nope.
Oh, that would be so cool, though.
Yep. And last one.
Final guess, chat. Let's have a look. Mega Malamar.
Nope. I'll tell you after this game has concluded. Game number 2. Stick around, chat, to find out what Mega Lobo wants in Pokemon Unite. Mega Lucario is going to finally be allowed through, as Eldegoss, Suicune, Hoopa, and Empoleon are going to be picked up. No Way has decided to hover over that Venusaur. Again, with that kit, it is looking like a Venusaur. Albanoa wants to go, gonna get sniped by their own teammate, as Altareo gonna select that Crustle. No Way also, he's going between two. He's watching. 100% they're watching, because he's like, let me make this guy stutter.
Oh, they love to do it to us, buddy. Let's see what Los Caracados are going to answer with here. They want to build up their foundations for their team. They don't really want to be looking at counters just yet. So Leo, Mega Lucario, a Yami-chan is going to show a little bit of attention to a defender here, as Rops picks up the Blissey. That's a huge pickup. They're going to pair that with the Umbreon. Could go the Eva moveset here. I would like to see the foul play and the Snile. I think that'll be good with what we expect Lost Euros to bring to them.
I mean, Lost Euros, Oscar is hovering over that Buzzwole. Buzzwole is a very, very effective top laner right now that Zacian is still on the board for Los Caracudos. It was Lost Euros that used it in the previous game. Birdielo's going to hover over Delphox again. I'm still thinking alongside, I did say Alolan Raichu was the best ranged attacker. Whether you think that's a hot take or not, it's not my business, but Delphox is definitely, with that fanciful Fireworks Unite move, is probably one of the best utility Pokemon, especially in the range attacker, to be able to defend pads going forward. Jose wants to bring out the Greninja, and I love it every time they bring out that assassin-style frog. Louisen has a choice to make here. Greninja, when it gets going, my guy, is very strong.
Oh, I like the Greninja pick, mate. I've been loving it more and more with more people bringing it out. Interesting double range coming out from Los Caracados here. We usually don't see the Delphox paired with another free-stage Evo ranged attacker anyway, so that is an interesting matchup. They're giving themselves a little bit of a back foot to begin with, but they do have good early game with that Leo on the Mega Lucario. Rops is there on Umbreon. So at least they've got that open. Louisen is going to bring out the Venusaur, ready to go. Looks like it's going to be a Beamersaur, looking at the held items. So they've got the double range on both sides here, buddy. 2 Spanish teams fighting it off in this best of 5 at the Unite Fight Club. 2 double ranged attackers, pretty much identical comp here for them both. Does he get any better than this?
I mean, I have an insane need to shout "Ole!" as loud as humanly possible right now, but I'm really excited for this. Los Duras came back and took a game number 1. Los Caracudos definitely don't want to let that slide, and they want to try and take this game back again. Best of 5 is what we could hope we are doing right now, so this could go the whole 5 ways. You and I always excited for a full set of 5, no matter how long it takes us. I remember one set of 5 took us almost 2.5 hours to cover fully. By that time, yours and I's voices were completely non-existent, but we're going to head right on into this one. Los Caracudos on your purple side, Los Duros on your orange side.
No surprises here with the central laners. In the top lane, it's going to be Mega Lucario versus the Buzzwole with the assistance of the supports apiece. Right now, this is going to be a good approach for the Frogadier coming into the lane, because they will have access to that double team or smoke screen, and that can be difficult for them to answer because they're going to have to pick out the right target.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're going to get that early stack in is Buzzwole, and once the Buzzwole is stacked, going to pick up a KO. They're going to go back towards the Lucario, try and get the stack, try and stop the Lucario Lucario from stacking. Did manage to get one in. Going to try and secure. They've decided to let Clefable stack their way up. Lucario's decided to go and grab a citrus berry as well. Neo's going to use that coaching to try and keep their team nice and healthy. Umbreon and Little Fennekin want to try and gain some experience in this basement side. The central laners have gone to the top side. Lucario had to pop that eject button mighty quick because that sludge bomb is such a big problem in this early game.
Yeah, it really is. It's so difficult to get through. It slows you down so much, and that's just an easy target for you if they do get a rotation in. And of course, Buzzwole is going to be happy to see you nice and slow in front of them as they reach out to find the KO. No way he's going to take that little bit of farm away from Los Caracados here as they try and find a KO on Rops. They're going to dive through the wall. The surf comes through. The boosted is going to be hit, but it's absorbed by the Fennekin.
I mean, this is just what we want to see from both these teams in this early game. Fennekin's going to go into the central lane and try to get that Delphox evolution as early as possible. Jose going to make problems here for Louisian on that Ivysaur. Managing to sneak that way. Greninja is online. It can be a problem, but 3 members of Los Duros are here to try and stop anything that's going on. The Crossel Rock Tomb is being used to great success, and I think Jose just decided to accept their fate.
You're like, yeah, bro, I'm gone. Just take me. Take me. As the Regidrago spawns onto the field here, Los Duros, they're not showing face for it just yet. We've got a pressure on this top lane as we're still looking for Venusaur to take to the field. It does rotate down to the bottom lane straight away, and then we'll start walking to the top side. So it's going to walk in to Los Duros here as we do have a rotation coming in from Louisian. Ready on that Venusaur now. Blissey rotating to provide the assistance in this central battle.
Yeah, look, as the Regidrago is going to march on in, we are seeing Flame Charge come out once again. Boswell just decides to pick up Greninja and slam them down. The beam went a little early, but don't you worry, Blissey was there with the eggs to secure and try to run its little pink blobby butt away. Boswell says, nope, give me a big hug.
That was a huge beam coming through as well from Louisian, and now they do have that online. It's not going to be easy for Los Caracados to take them down. They're going to score points here in this bottom part of Los Duros, while we do have a little bit of a rotation from Los Caracados, trying to see if they can alleviate that pressure by scoring their own points in the top side. It works for the moment, cuts down that score lead, but they're going to need help down here on this T2 pad because the Louisian is completely uncontested, and if these beams continue to rain on through, we'll say goodbye to those defending that pad.
I mean, the Sludge Bomb is such a defense shredder alongside that Soul Beam. Even something as tanky as an Umbreon is going to struggle, but that is going to walk in, and they're going to break it. It's going to walk towards tier 2. Buzzwole is here to defend it with a Registeel looking down on that bottom side. Can they steal it away? Umbreon is there. Clefable is going to try and stop it, but this could be stolen away as Registeel is going to reset itself on that top side. We do see Los Caracados are putting on the pressure. Los Duros have spent just a little bit too much time away from that tier 2, and it's broken before the halfway point, Tano. Any Regieleki right now is going to march its way to home pad. Los Caracados turned a back foot to the front foot. They turned this game around. Upsy daisy on top of its head all the way around.
Yeah, that is a bit devastating. They're going to have to answer every Regieleki that spawns in that top lane. You can probably, let them take the next one, but you have to stop it getting taken before the 4-minute mark. If you let them take it before 4 minutes, you are going to have one before Groudon, and that can be a win condition for Los Caracados. It is a difficult position for Los Duros to be in, but we've seen them come back in this. What about Shuriken's going to come on through? The Bliss assistance goes through onto Jose as well, and all that does is it bombs Los Duros as they send 2 back to the Pokemon Center. Leo is here ready to pop in on Mega Lucario, and Los Caracados are beginning to put a little bit of a stomp on this mid-game.
Buzzwole just breathing heavy in that grass right there. The Battle Fireworks gets unleashed by the Delphox, but there is the Registeel finally taken by the Greninja and the Lucario combination, but now they're going to push on. There comes the Verdant Anger with the Solar Beam combination. Delphox is dangerously low, but those eggs are going to help out just a little bit. Bulbasaur misses everything with those beefy arms, and Los Duros are struggling right now. Umbreon is right in their face, breaking ankles, avoiding solar beams. My guy, how did you get out of that one?
I mean, we said they were struggling last game, buddy, and look what happened. Like, Los Duros will always lock in these final few moments. I like this. They're going to go grab what experience they can and get those levels, because that's what it's going to come down to, this final few moments in that 2-minute mark fight. We do have the rip on Regieleki coming out from Los Caracados. They've got 10 seconds to take it. They are going to get it just before the 4-minute mark. I'm not sure they've got enough rip on the side of Los Caracados to take that before ground and take comes in.
I mean, they are going to get another one, though, and Boswell is going to distract away from all of this. Belisi is going to try and stun up. Clefable is there to heal the big beefy bug. Does manage to get their hands on the Lucario, but the combination of the Greninja and Lucario is there, and Clefable just decided to go boom out of nowhere. That is an unfortunate RNG rolling explosion, and there's the Water Burst Shuriken. Los Caracudos want to finish this one early.
Ooh, now the Swole Slam's going to come through as well, as they're looking to defend this Regieleki, walking to that home pad. Looks like, no, they weren't going to be able to until Jose put a stop to that with the serve coming on through. They're going to defend it, and then we do have a bottom Reggie about to come on in. Look at all the experience Los Caracados has open on their side as well. They're going to get the Reggie Drago here. The bottom Reggie is going to be uncontested for them as well, although we do see a little bit of a rotation coming out from the Venusaur. Los Duros have still... They're definitely in this, buddy. They do have a T1 up on the side of Los Caracados, and we know how important it is to defend those at the Groudon fight. They're easy ways for you to get some points in.
No, I agree with you, but this Delphox is just going to take it off of the map. Regice is very, very important, especially when you have a Blissey healing you up on that side. There we go. We've got 2 level 12s on the side of Los Duros with that Venusaur and that Buzzswole. We've got a level 14, a level 13, a level 13 as well, which is scary to look down on. But this Regieleki is going to spawn, I believe, soon. It should be spawning soon. And look at where Los Caracudos are right now, my guy. They want to take this off the pad. Doesn't matter how much rip potential they have. Delphox isn't here, but they might have just decided to go for another route with this one. There is 123 points between these two teams. A Hondo Burger and a little bit of change could sort that one out. Level 13 Venusaur on the field for Los Duros. They could win this one, but look at where Jose is. Very, very sneaky. Battle Fireworks is going to be engaged, and Venusaur is in a problem. Gets taken out by the Water Burst Shuriken.
Buddy, this is exactly why people use Delphox in this game right now. That fanciful fireworks onto the choke point. 2 combos within a matter of seconds, and they have blown up Louisian. They've taken out the entirety of Los Duros, and it was all on the back of that one engagement coming out from Bertolo. That is difficult, and there's no way that you can answer to it because there's no cooldown on that flame charge. They're already in the lead right now with Los Caracados. They don't need to do anything stupid. All they got to do is defend that T1 and that T2, and they've got Groudon Bus to do exactly that.
No, exactly. They have to push together, go for the top pad, really make the play. They've got a minute. They know they're behind, but the minute they step off that pad, those Groudon Buffs come into effect. There is pockets full of Aeoses all across the map as Buzzword does get taken down by the Greninja, and Lucario could go to home pad here. There is a beautiful placement of the fanciful fireworks to defend because you can't even retreat into your slow zone to get away from the damage that is being output. And Los Caracudos were not happy about that game 1, and it shows because they come back with a mighty vengeance in game number 2.
Ooh, okay, so we're now tied to a game apiece here in this best of 5, and that was an interesting battle from both of these two teams. What are we going to see going into game 3 here, buddy? Because, you know, both teams, they're going to have to get a win. It's not going to be the last game that we see in this best of 5, so they know they're going to have to come into a game 4, at least, with some Pokemon that they want to have up their sleeve. So you're not going to throw everything out in this game 3.
No, absolutely. Fearless Draft comes into effect, so now there's 10 Pokemon off the board for both of these Pokemon. And again, Fearless Draft doesn't seem as scary as we originally thought, because if one team decides to pick Buzzword, you can pick it in the next game. It's only, we're still going to see the same Pokemon, it's just going to be on the opposite teams. So 1-1 apiece. Los Caracudos were looking strong in game number 1. They lost it to just a little bit of positioning sense coming out from the side of Los Duros, but that was an incredibly dominant display. You know what else is an incredibly dominant display is my thought process onto what mega I want to see in Pokemon Unite come through, because both of our mods and my co-caster has not been able to guess it. My guy, give me your second guess as we go through these stats. Beautiful 13 KOs coming out from the side of Jose.
Yeah, I tell you, buddy, every time we see this good injury, it's just doing its job and doing it well. 85k damage, 34k taken. Brilliant healing coming out from Ayami-chan as well. And yeah, it was just a difficult game in those final few moments for Los Doros. I think they had a brilliant fight up until those points, but yeah, let's see, because Bertolo, that combo was absolutely on point. Game 3 is going to come on out here. It's fearless draft, chat, and what that means is that neither of these two teams are going to want to use those huge mega picks coming into this one.
No, I agree with you, but there's still a lot of picks on the board for both teams. We still have not seen Miraidon today. Empoleon hasn't been allowed out of the jail. Neither has Suicune. We've seen Zacian. We've seen Boswell. We haven't seen Palmont just yet. So there's still a lot on the table, and they could pick out some incredible picks. Kicking off incredible picks, we're going to see what the chat has said about my lovely guest. We're going to do chat interaction more often. Mega Heracross, absolutely not. Mega Alakazam, how is Alakazam going to be different to Gardevoir in Pokemon Unite? I can see it doing the exact same thing. It's not Mega Steelix and it's not Mega Mawile. Shall I put you out of your misery?
Please.
You're gonna absolutely hate me. You're gonna hate me. So the Pokemon that I want to see,
Altaria, I swear down.
Huh? What?
If this is Mega Altaria or something ridiculous like that, I swear down, man, I'm leaving.
So the Pokemon that I want to see come to Pokemon Unite and specifically get a Mega is Mega Beedrill.
Oh my god, I was gonna pick Mega Beedrill, bro. I literally, when I looked at it and I was like, will I go for Kanto? And they're like, Mega Beedrill, Mega Pidgeot was there. When I was laughing and I was like, that would be really cool. They're the two that I was looking at, man. That's so annoying, but oh my god, I would love to see that come into Pokemon
It's
Unite.
a good pick, right? As if you wouldn't want to see Beedrill in Pokemon Unite. Weedle is the most forgotten Pokemon in Kanto. Beedrill is the Mega Evolutions was to give Pokemon that needed more of a highlight. And who needed it more than Beedrill? Also, Mega Beedrill is a sick design. I have said this from the start.
Agreed.
Mega Beedrill is probably one of the best Mega designs out there. You can put it up against any of the other Megas, and I will probably pick Mega Beedrill as the better design. Go away, Mega Charizard X. You are not on my list. But that is my list. If you want to flame me in the chat, go ahead. I think it's a pretty good pick. Who wouldn't want to play Beedrill in this current meta?
It's more who wouldn't want to play Kakuna with in Pokemon Unite, where all you can do is harden. Imagine that, like Magikarp, all you can do is harden.
You know what? I want harden to be a moveset, but I want it to give your surrounding allies shields no matter where you are on the map. Kakuna could be all by themselves in like home base, and you press harden once, and it gives your entire team shields. That is all I want, and then let it evolve into a Beedrill.
I gotta say though, mate, looking at the coolest Megas going, I think Mega Gengar might be up there with Beedrill as well, to be fair, mate. They are. I'm looking at them all now.
If they bring Mega Gengar to Pokemon Unite, I'm going to just Cool. And if it is Hex, if it is Hex Gengar that gets the Mega locked in, I'm done. I'm banning Gengar every single game. Because Hex Gengar is just absolutely not. You can have any strategy that you want, anywhere, any shape. You can be the best thing you ever have, but as soon as you get poisoned, you're gone. You're gone. I have an issue with Gengar and Hex. But what we don't have an issue with is going into game number 3.
Here we go, game number 3. So, either way, we're going to have a game 4 here, buddy. It's a best of 5, and who's going to be able to get match point gives you that momentum that you're looking for coming into that final game. But you don't want to be picking out some really strong meta picks here. You do want to take the win, but you know you're coming into another game, so you've got to be cautious of that at Fearless Draft.
Yeah, absolutely, my guy. Look, Empoleon's still going to get banned out. Mega Lucario not going to be allowed to play. Dodrio also going to get banned off as well. And Hooper not going to see the light of day in these games. I'm liking Los Catacudos' kind of draft. They're kind of going on what Pokemon they really don't want to face, but they're going to pick those Pokemon themselves. Ayami-chan's going to pick up Suicune because, of course, you're going to pick up Suicune as soon as it is allowed out. Louisin is going to pick up Blastoise alongside Blissey. Unfortunately, one of the biggest counters to Rapid Spin Hydro or Rapid Spin Water Spout Blastoise is that Buzzsaw, which is off the table for both Pokemon. However, gotta watch out. I thought Bodilo was going to pick the Raichu. I really thought Bodilo was going to pick the Raichu.
Love to keep you on your toes, buddy. Leo is going to pull out the Aegis Slash, so I'm liking this. I feel like they've got some good core on their side of Los Catacados. And Suicune, buddy, we still talk about how oppressive that Pokemon is. The king of crowd control here. Yami-chan's going to provide that assistance. Los Duros, they're going to have a think about that because that is a lot of crowd control. No way is going to throw out the Alolan Ninetales. We never see this Pokemon in Fire Sky Ruins anymore. A brilliant crowd control beast itself, but very squishy compared to Suicune.
I really, really have a soft spot for Alolan Ninetales. It is one of my, it was one of my day one picks, the first Pokemon I got a gold badge on. I just wish they would retune it just a little bit more to give it just a little bit more speed. I love the Fairy build. I love an Ice Lane because it's just able to terrorize anyone that comes forward. Jose is going to pick up the Venusaur. Rob's going to pick up a Lapras. Leo's going to pick up Aegislash, which I do like as well. Oscar's going to go with Zeraora. Now, Zeraora is something that we have seen teams pick up in very niche situations. It has the ability to do a lot of damage. It can either use Discharge or the Volt Switch with the pull, or we can see Wild Charge and go with those iframes. Iframes into Suicune might be very, very advantageous here.
Yeah, I actually like that from Oscar. I mean, you really want to be trying to find the picks onto these ranged attackers and, you know, very good at doing that because not only can you jump in and then get them with the discharge, but you can pull them back into your own team. That's going to work a treat here. No Way as well on this Alolan Ninetales is going to be brilliant for trying to deal with Leo and get those freezes through. Los Duros, they've got a good comp here, buddy, but we have seen how dominant a Suicune is on Fire Sky Ruins, and every team struggles to handle the crowd control that brings.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, and this is exactly what Albanoa is there for. I mean, Safeguard's going to be key because Louisin is going to be right up in the front with that Hydro Spin. I'm going to assume it's going to be Hydro Spin, seeing the kit that Blastoise is running on it. We've seen Hydro Spin is so popular right now. We did see, not Hydro Spin, yes, Hydro Spin. We saw Hydro Spin into Spout, which was damaged Blastoise for a little while, but then it got countered by the pickup, put down moveset of Buzzswole. The biggest counter to Blastoise is that Buzzswole moveset because it can take you out of your Hydro Spin, but there's no Buzzswole to be worried about right now. And again, just gonna say it, Blastoise probably has one of the most effective Unite moves in the game. In that Hydro Typhoon. Man, there's so many Hydros going on Fire Sky Ruins right now.
Mate, it's so frustrating as a caster when they have names that are so similar, bro. Don't even get me started on Talonflame's Flame Sweep and Flame Charge. Bro, come on, go back to the board on that one.
I mean, Sovereign Slide and Sovereign Sword, you know, they're making us work for it. However, still gonna end up even on that top side. Alolan Ninetales, another one of those Pokemon. I think it's very underrated that it actually gets its evolution at level 4. I don't think people talk about it enough because being such a powerhouse at level 4, able to stack, able to put big AoE damage along with that Avalanche, Squirtle has to get that eject button popped straight away alongside Suicune. Both eject buttons used, both central laners in that top side, and Mew, Birdie-Lo looking to sneak their way, put down a little Solar Beam action, but Ayami-chan pays the price. Zeraora gets taken down in kind.
Yeah, that was a good response from Leo. Can they get through to Albert? No way here, though, because they are weak, but it's going to be Bertolo that comes up with the Electro Ball. And Los Caracados have found a little bit of an answer in the early stages to the pressure Oscar was bringing. But Los Duros are going to do the same down here, buddy. They've left the Lapras of Los Caracados, but we do have the Alolan Ninetales online. They're looking for level 6, level 6 and 7. As soon as they hit those, they get the combos ready to go, and the Alolan Ninetales becomes a much bigger threat.
I like seeing an aggressive Alolan Ninetales because of its speed and its lack of mobility just right now. It's going to get caught out just like that. Unfortunately, Suicune has been called the better Alolan Ninetales with its utility with Whirlpool and Ice Beam. Unfortunately, I don't like it that saying those two Pokemon do a lot of the same things. But I think Alolan's Ninetales does struggle where Suicune does seem to excel with the amount of speed and CC that it's able to generate right in front of it. Now the Regidrago is just going to get tickled a little bit because Oscar is here on that Zeraora, but Alolan Ninetales has the ability to steal with that freeze. The Solar Beam's going to go through, it's going to take it, the Poison's going to catch Oscar and take it down with the assistance of the Lapras.
I swear down, Venusaur will always be the king of Fairsky Ruins with the way it is right now, mate. You just cannot deal with this Pokemon, and then you've got the double beams coming in from Bertolo as well. It's absolutely brilliant from Los Caracados as they take a very slight point lead here, but it's looking at these levels. They nearly have Jose with the Verdant Anger ready to go. That is huge for this team as they get ready for these first team fights at these first objectives, but instead they want to continue to push this, and there's the Verdant Anger. Doesn't pick up the KO onto that Ninetales that they were looking for as they get out of the way, but the beam is going to combo onto the Slowbro. That's a huge amount of defense you no longer have in the front line as they do find the KO with the Surf onto Oscar as well. That's the double beam. Los Caracados. Mwah.
I mean, I think people forget that the amount of defense shred that Sludge Bomb actually provides is crazy. Double that with the special attack damage that Solar Beam is doing is incredible. I think you're right. Venusaur was one of those Pokemon that has been tinkered and tailored to perfection. It gave it enough of a defense buff in those recent patches and a buff to its just general stats. I think giving Pokemon buffs to those general stats can really, really help it out in certain situations. But the biggest thing that Venusaur got, and I believe all of the Kanto starters got, was getting that level 7 evolution, because having access to that Solar Beam early on, especially at your final evolution where your stats are higher, is so important. Right now, Los Caracados want to push the pressure, but they don't have Venusaur here. This is the beauty of the Hydro Spin, but Lapras Express is going to try and put a falter to the rails of the Blastoise.
Trying to see if they can put up the defense here is Los Duros. Good diving from Oscar, but they get shut down straight away by Leo. The Verdant Anger is going to come on back in from Jose, and beams galore here, buddy, as Los Caracados clean up Los Duros. They do have no way down in that bottom lane scoring some points, but there's no defense that can stop Caracados in that top lane, buddy. A brilliant effort from them there. And you did mention it, but I feel like it's been a fever dream, remembering the fact that those Pokemon used to Evo at level 9. That's ridiculous.
I agree with you. Look, one of my favorite casting moments ever was seeing a Rayquaza taken by a Solar Beam that wasn't even on the screen. And the best moment I had was yelling a beam from off the screen. And we're definitely going to see it at some point because we've got 2 Solar Beams just taken down Los Duros this time around, 216 to 82. We've just crossed the halfway point. Louisan's trying to work its little magic here. 39 is not going to go in because Aegislash is here. Again, the rework to Aegislash was good, but they went back on their promise to give Aegislash a little bit of extra defense. That's what I think it needs with that wide guard combination with the Solar Beam. Just shreds that Blastoise down. Even the Hydro Typhoon was not able to do anything. They find that Zeraora in the bush. The Mew boosted auto alongside the Solar Beam, but this is what Zeraora is great at, is just breaking ankles. Nice, beautiful redirect from the eject button. Takes down Zeraora. Those kind of kudos are schmovin' and groovin', and this Lapras Express has not missed a stop all game.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to find no way here because they're not going to be able to get away from it as they try to, but they're KO'd. And I got to say, I think Leo has had Oscar's number all game here, bro. Anytime Oscar jumps in on that Zero Aura, the wide guard is up, they're stunned, and they can't get off the combo that they're looking to pull. Leo has absolutely found a way to deal with Oscar so far, but they still hit level 12 here, mate, and it's still going to be a decider on how this game is won.
It's the same reason I think Aegislash is a very underrated counter pick when you see a Zeora, because that wide guard is able to bounce it out of those Night Slash combinations as well. Same with the discharge and into the Volt Switch. Los Catacudas are going to take the Regieleki here. They're going to be finding themselves down a Suicune in this next fight. If Los Duros want to push this fight, they have to be aware that there is a Regieleki walking down. Aegislash goes into that shield form, but the Verdant Anger is going to come out in the face of Oscar, just completely disregarding Oscar on that Zero Aura. The Plasma Gale comes out as well from the Electric Weasel Pokemon as opposed to the Electric Rat Pokemon, but Suicune is here to get its own back for being taken down earlier on.
Yeah, good pickups by Oscar there. They're very close to hitting that level 13. Kind of got to get out of this situation right now because the coaching's going to come on through. Looking for it is Bertolo. There's the Electro Ball going on over. Still going in is Rops. Los Duros. They should have retreated out of this position a lot earlier. They were looking for KOs, and all they've done is give over that experience back to Los Catacados. You had a moment to get out of that situation there, and I think they should have taken it, Lobo.
They're no way's going to get a 50. I misspoke. That is going to be the caster's curse. I thought that 50 was going to go in, but Aegislash just has so much range on that Sacred Sword, does it, Tana? It has the ability to disrupt it from great distances and then shift into that shield form. But the pressure is now on Los Duros. They're not even allowed out of their own center there. But the one thing I did want to talk about is just the tankiness of this Lapras right now, because we did see that it was running the new Big Root item, which is giving it a lot of extra sustainability and tankiness. And these double beams are just raining damage onto Los Duros.
It's very difficult to deal with these double beams because you have a Blissey for that pure healing, but there's only so much healing that they can provide, matey, and it's not easy. So many eggs that you have in your back pocket, and double beams, you get hit by one, you get healed, you get hit by another in an instant. Look at it, there you go. Just as an example, what a pull, though. That's brilliant from Oscar. That's what they've been looking to do all game, but they don't capitalize on it, buddy, as they get shut down yet again. The coup de grace is going to come on out here from Leo, and that is Los Catacados being able to defend against the Los Duros approach, but a brilliant Hydro Typhoon is going to come out in response with Louise in there as they spin to win, looking to see if they could find a KO, but Rox has zoned them out. Jose still hasn't been found, and Los Catacados are feeling pretty after that.
I think the slow beam did go onto Jose, but there was absolutely no one to damage. The discharge is in there. Who's going to secure it? It is going to be the solar beam that secures it. I thought the tick damage from discharge might take it, but Rops on this Lapras has shined in this game number 3. That Lapras, I don't think I got it seen taken down once, Tano, throughout that entire game. It was a defensive nightmare for Los Duros to handle. 476 to 82. Los Catacudos, these drafts have been impressive coming out from this team.
That they have. Los Duros are on the back foot now, coming into game 4. Will we see a game 5 as Los Catacados have built themselves a little bit of momentum there, but they had to use the Suicune for it. I mean, they're just going to stat pad here, bro. They had to use the Suicune for it. They had to use the Venusaur and the Mew for it as well. That's 3 huge picks you're not going to have for the rest of this set.
Excuse my Michael Jackson impersonation just there. I was very surprised at the double beams coming through. And no way, it's just going to chuck beams. Look at Blissey just playing target practice right now. A little bit of fun having had between these two teams. We want to keep it nice and light here at the UFC. My God, my face cam's doing all weird kinds of stuff. It has been a day, my guy. I've been yapping, I've been joking, I have been all over the shop, but I wouldn't have it any other way because this is exactly what the UFC is all about. Through Fearless Draft, through any kind of all this stuff, we see the craziness. Have a look at some of these stats. Jose with an impressive 13 KOs and 11 assists. Those sludge bombs were brilliantly placed. I had likened them to what I used to see with Danny placing those mines for Raichu. Anywhere that they, oh my God, 125k damage with only 23 damage taken. Bertilo, 91k damage dealt, 17k damage taken.
Bro's done the job, mate. That's what you want from your ranged attackers. You do that much damage and you take the least in the game. That is what you want from your ranged attackers. A brilliant effort protecting them on the front line, on the back of none other than Rops and Ayami-chan. That was a brilliant combo that they used there. But Lost Heroes, they're now on the back foot. They've got to come up with an answer coming into this one. It is now match point for Los Caracados.
Let's talk about Lapras for a second, shall we? Because I just want to have a look at some of these moves right now. We did see Water Pulse come out as well. Yeah, I just want to we have Unite DB up for because we can't have all the stats off the top of our head, guys. We are still human. Dealing damage to the Pokemon as it hits, decreasing their movement speed by 30% for 2 seconds. For each opposing Pokemon hit by a pulse from its move, an additional pulse will be released next time. These 8 seconds. My goodness. If the first pulse activating this move hits a Pokemon that uses next basic attack becomes boosted. And I believe that it also has, no, Lapras doesn't have any lifesteal as well. So I'm curious as to the big roots in use in this one. If you can explain that to me. Gimme.
Well, they actually changed it at the final moment.
Okay.
They were Focus Band, EXP Share, and Incense. So they actually changed it to go for the Incense, which I did notice. I think they were they coming out with the Bubble Ice Beam, Bubble Beam?
I thought it was Bubble Beam. I saw it was Bubble Beam.
I thought it was, if I remember correctly. But that's probably why they're going in there with the Incense as well, pairing that with those two movesets. So yeah, no big root. Probably why they didn't have it on. Probably they were testing it, to be honest. That's probably why we saw it, because of course, you know, it goes on your moves rather than what your Pokemon has as a standard.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just trying to figure out exactly where. Oh, there you go. It's attack. The auto attack has a healing of 3.5 with the max HP per tick.
There you go.
Does Lapras's, so just that lifesteal. I don't even know if it's lifesteal. It's just any attack that Lapras does. It is healing itself. Like we're saying, it is 3.5% of its max HP per tick that its auto attack is doing. So again, Big Root probably quite useful on that Pokemon if it's just sitting there and attacking you, especially if you've got anybody held up in that Bubble Beam or frozen with that Ice Beam. We're going to get straight on in to game number 4. No more senseless yapping, although I wouldn't call it senseless yapping, Yatana. I think I would call it quite productive yapping from both of us about Megas and all of the Megas we'd like to see. Rops is going to pick up Trevenant. This is a Pokemon that I have played with the Big Root, and I have been enjoying it very, very much, as El Toreo is going to pick up the Mamoswine. You and I are both Mamoswine enjoyers. I would love to see a Mega Mamoswine. Gimme. And Bertolo is going to pick up my current favorite ranged attacker in that Surfing Chocolate Rat.
Surfing a chocolate rat. Okay. And I like that. Louisin is going to pull out the Leafeon here for Los Deros. So already trying to answer what Bertolo is bringing to the table. I love Mr. Mime on the field for Los Caracados. Oh, here we go, bro. Here we go. Come on. It's the EU region, mate. You've got Jose on your team. Ayami-chan is there. You need to win one more game, bro. What are you going to do?
Los Caracados have gone, nope, it's it. We're done. We're done. And I absolutely love the Mr. Mime pick as well, especially if we're going to see walls coming out. There is no EXP share on that Mr. Mime, so it is a damage Mime. Those words I never thought would exit my mouth. However, Rops and Leo have decided to swap, so it is an EXP share Mime, and it's a damage Trevenant. What are you doing, Los Caracados? You're making me look like a fool. Oscar's going to pick up Lucario. No way. Going to pick up that Miraidon. Electric versus electric on the side of these teams. These head-to-heads are quite fun to watch. It's going to be Leo versus El Toreo. However, it's going to be a defender versus a damage-dealing defender. And Louisin is going to go up against Jose. Zoroark versus Leafeon. Who is going to take this battle? Ayami-chan, we know we've watched them play before. They are a very, very good. Confe not opting to just stick on to their Zoroark and going to heal the rest of their teammates as well. This is game number 4. Los Caracuros want to end it with this one. They've picked the forbidden jutsu to go with this one. EU's, or the world's most maligned combination of Zoroark and Confe. Well, we'll see what happens, because Los Duros definitely have the ability to shut it down.
It's so funny though, because like the only region that really is not concerned about this combo is probably the Japanese region, bro. They are, I mean, they probably have to be worried about Dodrio more than the Zoroark, because their Dodrio players are absolutely cracked. But everybody else, boy, they are scared to see these Pokemon take to the fields, and it's all about trying to pull them out of those combos. Let's see if Los Duros can do just that, because any power spike on Jose, boy, that is going to be a snowball.
I mean, this is exactly what I want to see, because we're seeing Eldegoss go in and take that red buff away from the Leafeon, which is not what I wanted to see. I want to see Leafeon go into that opposing team's central area and really stop Zoroark from getting online. The best way you could do that is to stop it from evolving. Nice push from the Mime. Just an extra Thunder Shock coming out from that Pikachu might have put that Miraidon in a bit of a problem. There's no way Lucario is going to be stacking 16 in front of a Trevenant who has the ability to burn you. Tell me how that works with a grass type being able to deal fire damage.
Oh, it's the world of Pokemon, buddy. The world is your oyster, as Los Caracados are going to be backed up to their tier 1 here. Los Duros trying to see if they can get some good picks, but instead Swinub goes down without managing to score a single stack, buddy. The 850s come in. Both donut stores are wide open on this Faya Sky Ruins right now, looking like Los Caracados want to be the first ones to close it as they put approach onto this T1 pad, but the defense from Oscatar is next level.
I love the fact that they've chosen E-Speed to try and counter this, not direct counter, but a good counter to get out of the way of those combinations coming out from the side of Zoroark. They're going to go into the enemy team's central area and cause problems here. Swineup is there to try and stop that from happening. Trevenant close to getting online. They just need to get a tick here, but Lucario is there to stop that from happening. And Los Duros are going to draw first blood. Look at where Luizen is. Birdilo has been backed up all the way to the home base, but Zoroark is not going to go and let that go unpunished.
No, and oh, come on. Do you really put Slow Smoke on the Comfey? Oh, come on, Ayami-chan. Come on, Los Caracados. That is ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. Mr. Mime almost surviving there, using that fake out here. Birdilo is here, gonna try and get some damage down onto the Miraidon. Another problem with the Miraidon, unless it's running that Electro Drift, it does not have the movement that it needs. And Birdilo, alongside Trevenant with that curse, is able to take down the legendary electric bike. Zoroark is here, gonna get all of those combos coming through. The boosted is going to put damage on, and Ayami-chan gonna steal some KOs away. Can we get a top KO coming out from a Confe? It's been done before.
Bro, this Zoroark has got a ranged attack paired to it, man. This is absolutely crazy. Regidrago's going to be taken by the Alolan Raichu. Burslow's going to find that as they try and deal with Jose up in this top line, mate. They can't do it just yet. Slow Smoke is going to go down as they try to limit Oscatar. They have their Unite move pretty much online as we hit the 7-minute mark. Nightfall Days is here, and this is what you do not want to see if you're coming up against the Zoroark Comfy. You have to try and limit that power spike in the early game. Emerald 2-step is absolutely massive. There's the Nightfall Days. A brilliant answer with Louisen finding the shutdown they needed. Now they go for the rip.
There was a stun there to stun them out of their combination, and the Emerald 2-step versus the Nightfall Days. Well, we know who won that one, and it was Louisen. Unfortunately, they're just going to try and get Ayami-chan to pick up a few more points and try and score them in here. I don't know what they're waiting for. A little bit of communication error between the two teams. A little bit of stabilizing the system between their headsets. Discord acting a little bit of funny, but look at all the damage that was able to be stacked up with 3 Electro Ball mines and the Thunderbolt just executing them. And now they're going to break that. Trevenant's going to try and do a little bit of damage control. However, that curse is very strong. I wonder if they're going to go Pain Split here. They are indeed. Pain Split on it to an Eldegoss, not super useful. Probably looking for something that deals just a little bit more damage.
Right now, though, mate, a Los Duros, 149 points to 0. Also, we never get to see Electro Drift anymore, so I'm very hyped for that from nowhere. But I mean, you never see it, bro.
That was the calmest voice I have ever seen you do for saying I'm so hyped to see an Electro Drift Miraidon in the most monotone voice ever.
I am very much excited to see this election drift off at Sky Ruins. I mean, right now, what this team are not excited to see, mate, is Jose diving down this flux zone, finding these KOs on this Zorak. Los Duros, they are struggling to deal with this Zorak. They have scored plenty of points, though. That's going to be broken down by Los Cadacados, answering with 109 points of their own right now. And we have a ball game on our hands.
I did point it out before when Miraidon got caught out by Birdilo and Rops on that Trevenant, that the only time that Miraidon has any kind of movement is when it plays Electro Drift, and that's exactly what it's going to do, but it does not matter. Jose was trying to find its target. It's now caught in the slow zone, but there's the Nightfall Days as the Mamoswine gets the evolution at the same time as Miraidon takes a quick trip back to Nurse Joy. 109 to 166 in a quick as an eye. Quick as what? In the flash of oh god, in a blink of an eye, they have turned this one around with 109 points unanswered on the board.
Chat, it's been a long day, all right? Lobo's only just got up as well. It's been a long day here as we try and cast the rest of this devastation that Los Cadacados is trying to bring on the back of this, but it's going to be the Aura Cannon that locks this in for Los Duros. Oscar giving a good secure, looking for the farm as well as they find it, and no way, steals the Registeel as well. Los Cadacados unable to get in for that one, zoning out now at the moment as they try and get onto this T1 pad. They've managed to at least defend against what Jose was trying to bring them in the beginning. Combos trying to connect. Electro Drift is going to go through. Boosted hits, and it does find Miraidon. Jose now has to retreat.
That is criminal. That is the longest Night Slash I have ever seen. I don't know how they managed to push that off, but defending that pad to quick succession, I think Leafeon has seen what they want to do. They're going to try and score 50 into that top lane. Lucario is there with the E-Speed. This is going to be an interesting one. I think Leafeon gets there in time. They're going to try and secure it. No, but they had the moves set up, and they're just going to cause a little bit of magician. But look at where Mamoswine is. The communication from the side of Los Duros is very effective right now, just trying to block Jose in. But Miraidon is in a tough spot. It can just Electro Drift out, but the wall's being set up by the Mime with the Showtime, and Birdilo can go hunting now to its electric type Pokemon, but that is why you play Electro Drift. No! Birdilo said, my electricity is better than your electricity.
The range, bro. That is an unfortunate event. It was a good effort from No Way as well to get themselves out of that position, mate. Just unfortunate that it was the Raichu that was chasing them. Los Cadacados are going to get another Regidrago here as they are just about 100 points behind as we're about to hit Groudon onto the field. This has been the closest that we've seen these two teams compete, and it has at least been an approach that they've taken against Jose here. They're just going to dive into this central area, and they run into the entirety of the front line of Los Duros. Mamoswine shuts them down with Albanoa providing the assistance, and it was all needed to take them down. Los Cadacados now on a little bit of a back foot.
Unfortunately, when you find that Zoroark, you are going to find that Comfey. It's just a 2-for-1 special being run on Thea Sky Ruins for $9.99. Only 11 seconds to go until we see a Groudon in our midst. Like you said, my friend, we're about to 108 points in this game. A Hundo Burger will sort that, but we're about to get to 128 points. Birdil is going to start the Groudon to try and invite some pressure onto themselves. Trevenant has found the Leafeon. They could go for the rip as Zorak has gone as well, but they decide to come on back. What is the range on this Night Slash? That is ridiculous. I don't know if that's a bug, but Trevenant has been found. That Groudon's at half. We're going to secure right future meteor storm into the Concord Crash. Los Duros managed to secure that one. We might be taking this to a game 5, buddy.
That we could be. They're currently in the lead. We've got 1:20 left on the board. Hundo Burgers are going to raid on through. They don't have Jose up. They don't have Leo here. The defense is going to be a lot harder for Los Cadacados without them. But not all Los Duros has to do now is defend this T1 pad. They could even let it go if they wanted, but I think it's wise to try and defend it with 1 minute left. Use those Groudon buffs to your benefit and find the KOs.
I mean, they know they have a huge lead right now. There's 3 defending, there's 4, there's 3 going to try and go for the attack. They do not have Jose here. That Mamoswine is going to be a big problem to deal with. Mr. Mime looking for something. Bodilo is going to put the damage on. The curse is coming in from the Trevenant as well. Zorak is going to find anyone that it can. They've decided to hunt the Leafeon, but Miraidon's going to get something in. Mamoswine is just not going down. Zorak has to turn it about face. There's 300 points now between this. They're going to take this tier 1 away, but now here it comes. Do they have Unite moves on deck? They don't. There is the Emerald 2-step because of that coming through. Bodilo needs to score 50, but the Emerald 2-step is going to take it down. The defense has been too strong. Zorak is still alive. Can they put this on the back of Jose? The Nightfall Days, but no! The team wipe comes out. Los Duros secure. Game number 4. We're going to a game number 5.
I tell you what, mate, if you said that it's going to take all 5 games to decide the better Spanish team here tonight at UFC, I'd have completely agreed with you, because we knew it was going to happen, mate. It was always going to be game 5 that had to happen between these 2 teams, and that is exactly what we're getting. What an absolute brilliant response from Los Duros coming into that game to push it to that final one.
I mean, I love a best of 5 situation, but unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to sit here and watch this best of 5 with you, my friend. I know I have to wake up early for these, but I do have work calling and I have to bow out, which means Tano is going to be finishing off this final game with a solo cast. My guy, you lucky dog, you getting to finish this off with the final game. But this was an absolutely wonderful game. You saw Los Karakuras picking that Zorak Config combination. I will stick with you until the draft goes in, and then once you get to the draft, I will head my merry way on out, because I really want to see if Los Duros decide to counter that and go for their own Zorak Config pick for game number 5.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to look at it, don't you? Because we've been seeing them try and ban out these. Well, I mean, it was Mega Lucario there. They were trying to limit the Suicune, but Los Duros, they have the capability of using those Pokemon. So let's see. It is a game 5 situation, but you could kind of work that out and respond with your own counters. But I don't know what they're going to pull out into these comps, because they've used a lot of Pokemon, and Fearless Draft is so good because when you get to game 5, chat, that's 20 Pokemon each team has banned out for a total of 40. And then you've got the 2 bans that come in each side. That is 44 Pokemon in total that are banned out here on Fire Sky Ruins Lobo. We get pretty deep into the roster that time.
I mean, we've said it, there's 78 plus Pokemon coming in right now on the roster. We're so close to 100 Pokemon on Pokemon Unite, although I don't think Mega Evolution should count as Pokemon because they're just the same Pokemon but with a different strat. So, you know, just a different item, if you will. But I'm so excited to see how this next game goes. I personally want to see Los Duros come with the Comfey Zorak combination to try and counter that. The Leafeon pick to counter the Zorak pick was quite good. I'm still going to say Emerald 2-step is a better Unite move than Nightfall Days. Excuse me. The excitement just cannot wait to get out over my body. But again, these 2 teams are so strong. I don't want to say it's completely different to what we saw in set number 1, Tano. We saw what an incredible back and forth those games were. However, this has been a legitimate back and forth between these 2 teams. Los Caracudas has looked very, very impressive. And Los Duros, we know from experience, I think they're a team that start a little bit slow, and then they start to ramp up and they pick up their pace. Because every time we've seen them in this best of 5 situation, that first game is always a little bit of a feeling out, get the fingers warmed up on the controller or on the phone, however they're playing. And the more and more they play, they're getting more and more comfortable. You know, we saw the Zorak comp and we're like, okay, you know, the GG. But they saw it and they went, well, hold my Leafeon. We'll see exactly how we can counter this. And they did it to brilliant effect. I thought the Mr. Mime was a fantastic choice on the side of Los Caracudas, but I also thought shifting, and I think this is what might have happened. I don't know if the holdouts for Miraidon as opposed to charge beam, as opposed to electro drift, are that different. And seeing that, what might have happened, Maridon probably struggling a little bit, getting caught out by Birdie and Rops on the Trevenant early game, and shifting to possibly the electro drift moveset to get a little bit more damage, because we saw multiple times Maridon's survivability, even against the Zorok, due to that electro drift, was key for allowing Maridon to continue to put that damage on, as well as that Bright Future Meteor Storm is such a powerful Unite move. So being able to shift like that mid-game or mid-pick is so important, and I think that's why these attackers right now are in such a good place.
That they are, but both teams have now used a lot of these strong attackers that you expect to see. But if Maridon's been used, the Raichu's been used, like it's at a stage now where you've got to kind of get a bit deeper into those ranged attackers if you want to play that style of comp. But it's game 5, buddy, so you can expect some ridiculous stuff coming out here. We've seen it in previous games with some Pokemon that you don't expect to be picked up, but they do. We've seen a Cramorant, bro, in the UFC. Like, it is, we see these Pokemon that you don't expect to see. And in a game 5, when you've used so many so far in Fearless Draft, you might have to pull that out of the hat. Go back to, the season 1 Pokemon that you used to see all the time, because you might be a little bit rusty on them, but you can always pick those up.
Yeah, look, but what you're not going to be rusty is when you decide to pick up some peripherals and computer parts from pinkparsnip Computers, our wonderful sponsor here at the UFC. Use our code ENGAGE at checkout to get a 5% discount. It is a UK-based company that has been wonderful enough to sponsor us here at the UFC. Go and check them out. Get yourself some absolute wonderful gaming peripherals, some absolute wonderful components to upgrade your PC. Tano and I have been looking at that Steam Deck Mini, which all streamers definitely want to get their hands on, but we're so excited that they were able to partner with us at the UFC. Tano, I've got my final draft. I'm going to hand it off to you for a solo cast. Guys, you are in for a treat. This man will not stop talking for 10 minutes without interruption. Albanoa going to pick up a Suicune. Rob's going to pick up a Blastoise. Holding that EXP share, maybe we might finally see a Surf Blastoise come to the field.
Bit crazy that is the first picks that they go for as well. I mean, the Inteleon's understandable. We're getting to the point now where a lot of ranged attackers have been used, and you kind of have to pull the strongest ones that you can find. Blastoise is interesting, but oh my god, Los Duros, they get access to the Suicune, one of the strongest Pokemon in the meta right now in game 5. They pull out the Charizard with, I'm sorry, it's still a broken Unite move, and then they've also got the Alchemy here with a great Unite move for those team fights. Great answer from Los Duros.
Yeah, I agree with you, my friend. Charizard, though its kit was kind of nerfed, its Unite move is still one of the strongest in the game. That Fluffy Plume Supreme is such a good Unite move as well, but if No Way decides to pick up the Cinderace, my guy, you are going to have a job on your hands. They are going to make me look like a fool on my way out, as they also hover over that Chandelure, which we don't really see a lot of at the UFC.
That we do not, but that would be an interesting ranged attacker to go for. Instead, Noe's going to pull out the Gardevoir here, trying to utilize those side shocks with that Unite move as well to find some good picks onto Los Caracados. Oscatar is pulling out the Garchomp. Bro, we have 3 all-rounders, or rather a defender on the side of that Suicune, to protect this Gardevoir. That is massive here for Los Duros, but Jose pulls out, in my opinion, the best speedster in Pokemon Unite.
Jose just said, you might have the all-rounders, but I have the disaster Pokemon. Jose said, I'm going to predict the disaster coming for you. No way. And it is going to be a problem. Absol is such a good Pokemon. Probably, I think, the best Pokemon in that central lane that comes out of the central lane at level 5. It is so good. Leo is actually going to swap with Rops with that Slowbro coming into effect. Having access to that Charizard Seismic Slam Unite move, it can get stopped by that Slowbro Unite move, as can Delivered Outrage. So a lot of options here to stop. And if that is even funny enough, I would love to see Bertolo play that Liquidation moveset just to stay at range and do damage onto those 2 all-rounders that just want to burn you and punch you alive. Guys, this is game number 5. We have gone the distance with Los Catacudos versus Los Duros. My name has been Lobo. It has been an absolute pleasure. I do apologize. I'm so sad that I have to leave this game at the penultimate time, but I'm going to leave you in the ever capable hands of my incredible casting buddy, Mr. Spartan Turner. He's going to be your voice to take you out for this one, this incredible game. Game number 5, Los Catacudos versus Los Duros. Who is the top Spanish team?
We are about. I've lost my casting buddy, as they've got some things to do, but here we go. Let's get on straight into this game, chat. I'm just going to continue casting it, whether you can hear me or not. 14 points on the board already for Los Catacados. They do have that Absol at level 5. Drizzile has hit level 6, so they have gone into the central area. Looking for Inteleon nice and early here on the side of Los Catacados. Los Duros, they do have a later stage comp right now, but Oscartaz managed to hit Gabite. Their healing is absolutely massive from Albanoa. As they look for the KO, they don't find it. They get stomped back to the Pokemon Center. And Los Catacados have a huge advantage at the moment. Alrighty, so here's the approach onto the Regidrago. Los Catacados again going for the rip here. We do have Charizard rotating down to see if they can find a secure. Jose's going to get it uncontested right now. As I just have something going off in my ear, so bear with me. Okie dokie, here we go. So, a rip onto this central area from Jose. Still only 14 points on the board right now, with just the 720s about to spawn on in. Looking at the levels, chat, both teams have Pokemons at levels that they're looking for. This is going to be one heck of a matchup here in Game 5. Leo is not going to be easy to break through there. They need to find Garchomp, and Jose is already rotating into that top side to find the KO. Snipe Shot is ready to go. Oh my days, look at the combos come through. Los Catacados have answered in the top side. They're going to score more points here as Jose looks to take some experience with this rotation down. Looking to see if they can find the KO onto Bertolo, but they don't. Noe has to retreat here because those Snipe Shots are going to be ready to pop on off, and Jose already shutting that down with their rotation, locks in the Regieleki, and that is going to push this T1 pad for Los Duros. Now they've got to try and defend it. It's right teetering on the edge. Looks like they might just abandon this, let it go in, let them get the caps and open up an extra lane of experience here for Los Duros, which is a good shout. You do need these levels as soon as possible because, I mean, you've got level 10 on Jose right now, chat. That's a little bit crazy. Registeel is going to reset. Hydra Typhoon's going to come on through, but the Seismic Slam was on point by Louisin. It stops Blastoise popping off that Unite move. They get it back in an instant, but now they can score this 40 dunk in. If Slowbro can stop them, no, they can't. The Surf is slightly off. And that Registeel reset as well, so Los Duros can get themselves back up into this lane and take this fight, although the Livid Outrage is going to be shut down instantly from Slowbro, and that is not a position Los Duros wants to be in. Here comes the rip onto the Registeel. They find the KO onto Suicune as well. Los Duros can't go for this realistically. They don't have the Unite move on the side of Louisin, trying to see if they can sneak in. Psychic Solaire, no, the Fairy Singularity, sorry, is going to go on down, but they don't find the secure on the Registeel. It's taken by Bertolo. And Los Catacados, they're finding any objective they want. They've got a 111-point lead right now, chat. As we hit the mid-game here, wow. Level 11 on the Inteleon and the Absol. They've got Unite moves ready to go. Need a couple more on the side of Los Duros. But this is close. Realistically, when we come down to these final few moments in this game, that point difference means nothing in final stretch, chat. We've all been there. We've all had the back caps against us. Both teams are just going to grab what experience they can. Oh, that's a good steal away from Los Duros as well, as we do see this bottom Regieleki coming on in. Los Catacados are going to be uncontested realistically here. Rops is trying to zone them out. pulling the attention of the Charizard, and that is a secure Fairy Singularity hits again. The Endless Ice Spikes is going to be paired with it. We saw the Seismic Slam coming through, but the Slow Beam is going to find them. Absol with the Midnight Slash as well. They're going to find the KO onto Louisin. There's the Livid Outrage, and finally Los Duros get some good picks onto the side of Los Caracados, but they don't find the damage as Zerspy Vision comes in, and Los Duros lose all the attacking power that they had. What a matchup this has been. What a set this has been between these two teams, chat. This is what we expected from both of these Spanish teams. Jose's not going to get that in, but they still have that point lead. A dive in from Oscatar here. They've got the healing with the recovery. Trying to stop them going for it, though, is the Blastoise. 1 HP and a Dream on the side of Oscatar. The Cannons doesn't find them. A rip onto the Regidragi comes in from Los Caracados again. This is a Regice. Do they want to go for it? It looks like they want to make the approach to try and see if they can get it. But Los Caracados have got the answer. They're waiting for exactly that. Psychic Select. Oh, the Psycho Cut paired with the Midnight Slash is going to find the KOs. And Los Duros, they can't go for this right now. They've got a minute until Groudon is on the field. That Regice goes to Los Caracados. You're going to have a difficult job defending this. Jose gets a good swipe clean. Look at the damage this Absol is doing. Realistically, you need to get on out of there if you are on Louisin. It's an easy KO for this Inteleon, and that's exactly what Bertolo does. All right, so Los Duros are on the back foot here, chat. They've got experience on their side. They're going to try and grab all that at the moment as we're 30 seconds away from Groudon taking to Faya Sky Ruins. Los Caracados, they have the advantage. Do they play this aggressive? Do they stay patient with it? If we know this team well, I expect them to be aggressive as we see them already positioning themselves on the aggressive side of things in this pit. Blastoise making a rotation up into that top side. Gotta watch out for these tier 1s being up at least for Los Caracados. It's an easy place for you to get those back caps. But they're just trying to zone them out from coming into the central area, realistically, is Los Caracados. It's an aggressive stance to have. Oscatar waiting in this bottom lane, hoping they can get through for a back cap, but you're going to need more than that. You have to win these fights. Come for the flank, as that's what they look like they're going to do, making a very slow approach here. Bertolo has spotted them. Los Caracados is going to answer instantly. Keeping eyes on Oscatar here. That's Rop's job, a Yami-chan's as well. Brilliant approach from Los Caracados at the moment. It's all about vision in this final fight, chat. If you know where the players on Los Duros are and you can play around that, you will win this game. Look at where Leo is right now, ready for that flank into this choke point. Half of your HP taken away from one snipe shot. Trying to pull out the slow beam here. But patience is key. And that's what Los Caracados is going for. Surfing on through there, looking to see if they can find Ascatar. There's the Endless Ice Spikes coming on out. Fairy Singularity as well. And they're going to pair that with a Fluffy Cream Supreme. And Los Duros have taken out the Inteleon. They've got to try and deal with Jose, though, who will be ready to come in on the side of this Absol. The rip is going onto the Groudon, but I'm not sure that's the approach right now. They do have the Garchomp ready to dive through onto Jose. Livid Outrage is going to come through as they blow up the Slowbro. Los Duros may be doing the impossible here. The Hundo Burger is going to go on in from Los Caracados, but they've taken the Groudon, chat. There's a Seismic Slam. Los Duros with the perfectly timed approach, but we've got 10 seconds left in this game. Can they score enough points? They just need to get some into this T2 down here. Are they going to get onto it? Can it go on in? They've managed to get Torero off that point. The 33 is going to go on in. Los Duros are going to do it. They've got enough points. They're going to take this set with a 3-2 victory. That went from 0 to 100 in an instant. That was a brilliant pick from Los Duros to use the Endless Ice Spikes with a combo to get Bertolo taken straight out of that fight, chat. Bring up that scoreboard. I think they've done it. I think they've done it. They've done it. Oh my god, Lobo is going to be kicking himself right now. We didn't get the Zorak Comfy on the side of Los Duros, but we got something better. It was a buzzer beater in the final few games. Los Duros have proved themselves to be the better Spanish team here tonight at UFC, and Los Caracados are going to have to bounce back against them next time. Oh my days. I tell you, when they tell you that you're going to solo cast, it's like, okay, yeah, I can do this. And then you're talking for the entirety of the game. I was like, a little bit of patience here at the Groudon fight. I'm happy with that. Let me catch my breath. And then boom, straight out they go. They go for everything. Los Duros, a huge congratulations to them as they managed to take this with a 3-2 victory, chat. And that was one heck of a set. That was exactly what we were hoping to see. I'm just going to check with production if there's anything else for us to do. I don't think there is. So, as a review of today, Komai Esports with their brand new roster came onto the Unite Fight Club for the very first time. They had a brilliant set versus Hyper Gaming, but they win it 3-0. And then we come into Los Caracados versus Los Duros, two Spanish teams that are very strong here in the EU region. I'm a huge fan of both of these teams. Los Duros have been making massive improvements this offseason, and it is incredible to see them come out of this with a 3-2 victory over such a well-established team that is Los Caracados. Cannot wait to see these two face off against each other again, chat. Okay, I think that is all she wrote. I need to go and get myself a drink and have a little bit of a rest. I'm going to go watch some Demon Slayer, chat, because I need to chill. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. We appreciate it so much. We appreciate all the players, all the teams that get involved, the viewers. This wouldn't be possible without all of you showing an interest in Pokemon Unite Esports. So from me personally, I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. A huge shout out to our entire production team. We wouldn't be able to put these amazing shows on without them all, and it takes a lot of people to be able to do this. So a huge shout out to Arpit, to Mermaids, to Tan, to Yash, and to Zen. Whew. And to my main guy, Lobo. Bro, Lobo had to go because it is ridiculously early over in Australia. Man's got to go to work, chat. Like, that is how dedicated we have been to this. So a huge shout out to all of those people. I'm going to get off. Have a brilliant morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, guys. And we will catch you for more Unite Fight Club action. Not next week, because we are going to be on break. But then we bring more action before the mid-season kicks off. Thank you so much, guys. Catch you later. Mwah.